What if I told you that Minecraft's most popular map, Skyblock, has never been beaten? You'd probably think I'm lying. After all, what are all these videos about? But hear me out. If you Google Skyblock Minecraft map, you have plenty of options to choose from. However, all these options are fake. You see, the original Skyblock map was so popular that it's been remade hundreds of times over the years, with each variation being slightly different. But what I'm interested in is the true original Skyblock, a version that has always been believed to be truly impossible to complete the game in. And that's for a very good reason, because the original Skyblock map was not only made before the Ender Dragon and End Dimension existed, but before Notch even finished making Minecraft version 1.0. You see, the original Skyblock was actually just a map and a set of rules created by the player Noob Crew way back in 2011. And the point of it was simple. Try to complete the list of 33 challenges without violating any of the rules. And this is why so many people have made new versions of Skyblock, because as new features get added to the game, these old rules completely prevent you from accessing the new content. And as the person who's spent years beating Minecraft for the most impossible scenarios, believe me when I say, this one is different. In fact, Skyblock is the version of Minecraft I grew up playing, and the idea of somehow finding a way to legitimately beat the game was something I've spent my entire childhood dreaming about. And it's what inspired me to create videos like beating Minecraft from the void, super flat mode, and even from a single block. But even after finding a way to literally spawn entire chunks from thin air in other videos, nothing like that would work for Skyblock. I've spent years beating the most impossible challenges, and I still couldn't solve the one challenge that started it all. But now, I finally have an idea. Don't get me wrong though, I have no clue if this is actually gonna work, because this idea is still in the theoretical phase and we don't actually have a working machine yet. So far, I've spent months failing to convince the smartest redstoners in the world to help me design a machine that's so complicated to make that everyone claims it's too hard to even bother trying. And even if I do find someone smart enough to help me reverse engineer Minecraft's code so that we can build an actual working model, I'm still gonna have to try and build this thing in the Nether Dimension, which by the way is completely inaccessible in the original version of Skyblock. Then construct some of the most complex redstone machines without making a single mistake. And to do all of that, I'll need to gather tens of thousands of materials in a map that was literally designed to give you nothing. So here's the plan. We're gonna load up the OG Skyblock map in version 1.12. We're not allowed to change versions or use backups. And we'll be doing the entire thing in hardcore mode, meaning one mistake could cost us everything. Our goal is to first complete the 33 original Skyblock challenges, find a way to unlock the Nether Dimension, collect the tens of thousands of materials needed to build the machine that hasn't even been fully designed yet, and then hopefully, become the first person to ever truly beat Skyblock. And after already spending years trying to figure this out, I'm guessing that filming this video alone is probably gonna take about... Okay, so we're trapped on this island with basically nothing. We have a tree, some dirt, this chest full of random items, and unlike most Skyblock maps you've seen, that's it. There's no other islands. So let's start by chopping down this tree. Make ourselves a crafting table, a pickaxe, and then let's use some of our ice blocks and some lava to make a quick and dirty cobblestone generator. And while this cobble generator is technically the first of our 33 goals to be completed, I don't really care about that right now. While it's true that some of these challenges are laughably easy, like getting a furnace or torches, some of them are gonna take a bit more work. And considering how much insane stuff we need to do to try and jailbreak our way into the Nether Dimension and build the crazy machines I have planned, I think our first priority should be to establish a good foundation to work from. And that means having plenty of materials like wood, stone, and food. So now that we have an infinite source of cobblestone, let's work on making ourselves a farm so, you know, we don't starve to death in hardcore mode. Now the game does give us some melon and some pumpkin seeds, which I guess will serve as our food source for now. So let's make a hoe and start oh, actually, hold up. What are the chances we can get some wheat seeds with only 3 bone meal? Can I get a seed? Oh, crud, nothing? No, our last bone meal. Oh, a seed, let's go. And some flowers. All right, so I'm gonna plant all the farming materials here. So we'll put the melons here and we'll put the pumpkin over here, wheat there, and then we have our sugarcane, and I'm gonna ignore the rest of these materials. Okay, here though, we can make cobblestone pickaxe, which will make things go a little bit faster. And then I'm slowly gonna build out my island so we can expand our tree farming area. At this point, I think we can check off a few more easy tasks that will make our lives easier. Starting with a furnace. Use this string we were given to make a bed, and then turn a few logs into charcoal to give us torches. Now that we have infinite wood, stone, food, and a place to sleep, and torches to prevent mobs from spawning, that should be everything we need to start building our base and start speedrunning some of these tasks. At least, we will be ready to do that once I spend the next 3 hours of my life mining cobblestone. Just like this. Over and over again. So fun. Hey, do you wish you could do something exciting? Like, I don't know, strap into an actual airplane and have a military-style shootout with your friends? Well, I tried that, and it was terrifying. You were either passing out from the intense G-force, or you were trying not to throw up from all the rolls. But with War Thunder, you can fly a plane without being nerfed by your physical limits. With War Thunder, you can feel like you're flying your own plane in a full-scale aerial battle, which I'm definitely qualified to say. Not only can you conquer the skies, but you can also conquer the land and the seas, as War Thunder gives you all sorts of military equipment and vehicles that span throughout the century. This free-to-play, large-scale multiplayer game allows you to fight in epic battles in highly detailed locations around the world. And, just like my gaming skills, the graphics, physics, and the sound in War Thunder are consistently improving to continue their mission of providing the most realistic combat experience out there. It's so realistic, you can even set a hotkey to turn on the cockpit light. Not sure what you would need that for, but that just goes to show the crazy level of detail they put into this game. Now, with the recent 9th Wave update, the game has improved water graphics, a unique branch of the Hungarian aviation, and new fighters such as the American F-16C Block 52 and the Soviet MiG-29M. Giving you even more options to blow your friends to smithereens. Download War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox by using the link in the description. And if you're new or haven't played in the last 6 months, you can receive special bonuses such as 100,000 Silver Lions, a special decorator, and more. You can also join these epic battles on War Thunder Mobile, available for free on iOS and Android. Just click the link in the description, and thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring the video. Okay, tons of things have grown, so let's take all this down and then start working towards our next big goal. Okay, so now that we have a base set of resources, we can focus on the rest of the challenge. However, there's one caveat to that. I don't want to build my base in an area that I'm going to move later, so I want to make sure I find the permanent spot that we're going to build in. And even though there's literally nothing around, there's still one thing we care about when finding a base location, and that is mob spawns. Since we have so few ways to gather resources, killing mobs is going to be the only method we have to acquire items like redstone, iron, gold, and other things we need to build the giant machines we're planning on making, which means maximizing mob spawning is going to make our lives a whole lot easier. And the one thing that can help us do that is to build our base as low as possible, since the lower you go in the world, the faster mob spawn. So, let's get ready to start building our new base by completing one more easy goal, which we can do by smelting up some of this cobblestone, waiting about 4,000 years. And with all this stone, we can craft ourselves some stone bricks, which not only checks off one of those original Skyblock goals, but also means we can stop building like peasants. So now let's make our way down to the bottom of the world, and hopefully not accidentally fall to our death in the process. Okay, so I moved everything down to the bottom of the world where we have a new space to build. The only thing left that I need to be careful about is this grass, because if I break it now, I'll never be able to get any more. And without grass, we won't ever be able to get animals to spawn like cows and sheep. However, I do need some of this dirt for making farms. So let's try to remove as much of the dirt as we can, while still leaving a layer of grass so that the mobs can spawn. Alright, we have enough blocks to at least get the food farming started, because I'm a little concerned I'm gonna start losing hunger bars soon. While we wait for the rest of the blocks, I think I want to get the initial farming set up, and I think for the most part we're gonna use seeds for food, since bread is definitely gonna be better than melons. Place that there, nice. Okay, so now that we have some crops down and don't have to worry about starving to death, let's focus on completing some more of the goals. Starting with building ourselves a proper house to store all our materials, and by expanding the island so we have more places to build. Now, we do only have wood and stone to build with, but I refuse to live like a peasant, so we'll try to make something that looks nice. So, let's make a border with stone first. All right, so that's the border. Now let's fill it in with some good old stone brick. Okay, we have to come up with a house design. And by that, I mean, let's steal one off the internet. Mine will definitely look like that, for sure. I feel like this one's a little bit easier to build. I'm gonna build this one. Okay, all right, Chad, here it goes. Time to build our house. Oh, crud. So, I may have forgotten to light the house up. I'll just be waiting here until daytime. Okay, nobody shoot me. Nobody freaking shoot me. Okay, I think we're good. This is so terrifying. I touched W right now, and we did. We're gonna need a few pickaxes to get back down. Okay, as I was doing, I was attempting to build my mansion. Oh, I heard that. Nope. All right, building the mansion's taking a little bit longer than I planned, so I want to get started on some of the other challenges while we wait. One of them that I want to get going right away here is mushrooms. So we have George and we have Fred here. And what I need to do is create a place for them to propagate, which means we need absolute darkness. So let's find an area where we can put them in absolute pitch black sadness. Okay, nice. And okay, so we'll check back on George and Fred in a little bit. Hopefully they've created offspring or whatever mushrooms do. But for now, let's get back to focusing on the house. All right, so I made the front of the house a little bit wider than the sides. This way it's not a perfect square and won't look like a typical Minecraft build. Now let's build the next layer and then get to the roof. Okay, let's check on the progress of like George and them and see if we have any mushrooms yet. Bro. Okay, so I realized I made a mistake. I may have accidentally turned the mushroom house into a mob farm, which does make it a little hard to check if they're actually growing or not. But I realized I could have just put them in a one tall area and it would have been fine. And then I could have checked on them. So, oopsie. Hopefully they still grow in there with the mobs. So now that the mansion's done, let's get like a good viewpoint of it and let's see what it looks like. Ladies and gentlemen, the man, oh no. Well, it appears my trusty building skills have underwhelmed us once again, but that is technically another goal completed. Now, which ones do we want to do next? I think we should do the melon farm, pumpkin farm, wheat farm, and sugarcane farm next, since those should be pretty quick and easy, and it doesn't hurt to just have more food. Okay, and then we can just copy the design on the other side for the melon farm. Okay, I'm gonna create a bigger farm for the wheat though, is kind of the thing. And then what we do is take the sugarcane, we plant it down like this, and then like we'll have like a row through here, which is gonna be super cool. Oh, and then with these new farms, we should have, oh, I have exactly 10, let's go. Okay, so slight issue. I just checked on our grass patch and it appears we have not gotten a single animal to spawn yet. Like what, we've been in the world for 32 days and we haven't gotten one passive mob? My only thought is like extreme hills is an issue, but what spawns in extreme hills? Okay, extreme hills no longer exists, that's great. Oh, we could try putting more blocks up there. All right, Reed Farm, you served us well for the 10 seconds you existed. Okay, we have a problem. There should be passive mobs spawning up there and we need them to continue the challenge, but currently none have spawned. I'm only like 64 to 100 blocks away and mobs can spawn anywhere from 24 to 128. So I don't know why they aren't spawning. My only conclusion to this is I had to place some dirt up there, see if I can make the platform a bit bigger and then just hope they spawn because we kind of need some real soon. Let's do this. Expand it kind of in a square here. Run a perimeter around it, and then I'm gonna fence it in. This way everything spawns, it doesn't just like yeet itself into oblivion. While we wait for everything to kind of grow in the middle of here, and potentially passive mobs to spawn, let's focus on making a mob grinder. Not only because it's one of the 33 goals, but also because this will be one of our single biggest source of resources, since it'll give us access to things like bone meal, redstone, iron, gold, and eventually villagers. Okay, so here's the idea. The mobs spawn on one of these 4 platforms, they wander down into these canals, get pushed down this tube to where I can fight them on the bottom. Now we just need to put the walls up and the roof. Okay, so now that we have an infinite source of bad guys to murder, we can use the bone meal from the skeletons to do things like farm pumpkins for our jack-o'-lanterns goal, and finally convince George and Fred to actually grow. Ah! Oh, it's a baby! I was assaulted by a child! Okay, I don't want to kill Barry. Barry needs to survive. He'll be our first passive animal. Yo, let's go, Barry found me! Where are my seeds? Hey. Okay, and then we turn this into bone meal. Okay, we have 8 pumpkins. Close, close. We should be getting the rest of the pumpkins that we need here, so that'll be fine. Okay. 10 jack-o'-lanterns, done that. Okay, let's make a lake. Okay, so here's another quest done. We got the red one. That gives us 1 quest. Hey, let's go. This should give us enough mushrooms that we can make all the mushroom stews to check off those quests. There we go. We have 10 bowls of mushroom completing the next quest. So we've completed all the challenges we can up until this point because the rest of them we need passive mobs for. And if you haven't been able to tell, we've been here for 49 days and we haven't gotten 1 passive mob to spawn, so this is an issue. With that being said, we have bigger issues. See, we not only need passive animals to spawn to complete the challenges, but to get to the nether, we need cows. And we might not get cows for a very long time if we continue with this process. So I think the better strategy is to go for villagers, which probably doesn't make a lot of sense right now, but villagers will trade us books, similar to how the cow's leather will make books for us, and books are going to be essential later into getting to the nether. You see, getting book and quills later is going to enable us to do something called save stating, which should get us to the nether. But in order to get all the way to there, we need leather or we need books. So I'm going to place 2 bets. I'm going to set up some way for passive mobs to spawn, and I'm going to go for villagers. But the only way to get villagers at this point is if I can get a golden apple, and the only way to get gold currently, well, there is really no good way to get gold currently. The only way that I know of is if I kill enough zombies who are wearing golden armor and they have a small percentage chance that they'll drop it. With that, we can smelt it down, make a golden apple, and then work on converting villagers. Okay, so I've just reviewed the list again, and I do need passive animals for most of the remaining challenges. So while we wait for them to spawn, we'll focus on the gold. Okay, so... No! Where did he go? Where did Barry go? Hold up. He's just gone! But excuse me, did he just poof out of existence? Where am I? Oh, is it because I was too far away? I was over 24 blocks away. No. Well, I guess there's no need for the fence. You know, it can get a little lonely sometimes playing Skyblock in the void with absolutely nothing else around you. Sometimes it might just be another chicken, but sometimes it feels like it's more, you know? Okay, now let's go grind some mobs to get the gold for a golden apple. Oh, it's the old gold armor. Oh, it looks so icky. Oh, a potato. Oh, I got it. I got a potato. That's gonna be better than wheat. Ooh, iron ingot. Ooh, that's not like a main quest item, but it's definitely gonna be useful. Our first piece of iron. Let's go. This is gonna be really useful soon. But as much as like that's good. Oh, let's go. Our first piece of golden armor. There we have it. We get 1 golden nugget. Now we need 72 of these to make 1 golden apple, but technically we actually need 2 golden apples because we need villagers to breed, so. It's probably gonna be worth the investment to begin like making this mob farm taller and adding more layers to it. So we'll slowly grind for resources and fight these mobs at the same time. Oh, it's Barry again. Is there a world? Hold up. Oh shoot. No, frick. Okay, so I actually just thought of something. What if, to try to help the passive mobs actually spawn for once, we try bringing the grass down to a lower Y level? That way the spawning rates should go up. Now, without Silk Touch, this does mean we have to basically build a staircase down and let the grass grow along it naturally, which will be painfully slow, but that might be our only way to get mobs. Okay, wait, can I save Barry? If a bunch of mobs come down here, I'm never getting it. Wait, I can just let him out. Could be a little dangerous. Hold up. Where'd he go? Where did bro go? Barry? Okay, so he's right here, right? Excuse me? Where are you going? Okay, I'm still grinding away at the gold. We have 25 in total so far. But meanwhile, I've been working on expanding the island, and I'm gonna continue to push this way to fill out our 3x3 chunk. I think I'm gonna use this side as the new tree farm area. Oh, there's a chicken. Come on, Barry. Yeah. Okay. Oh, shoot. No! No, not my gold! Oh, there's just so much stuff. My main worry right now is the gold, then I'll turn my attention to the farm. Nice. Okay, I think we got all the gold. Whew! Oh, we put him in a boat. That's how we keep him safe. That's what we do. Hold up, come here, Barry. Yeah, let's go. Okay, Barry shouldn't despawn now. Now, is that experience gonna stop me from doing that again when we get another chicken? No. Do I wanna try and let him out with this many mobs? Maybe? Barry, see me. Barry? He might be stuck. No! I think he's gone, chat. Oh no, I still see him. Yeah, he's right there. I need to not let the creepers see me, otherwise they're gonna blow up, but I need to get Barry out of there. Barry, come on. Come on, buddy. There he is. Oh, and a spider's chasing me. Okay. Okay, hold up. Come here, Barry. Oh, Barry looked at him. It was like he was waiting for his friend. Oh, look at them. Look at them go. Oh, they're so cute together. Can they mate in a boat? And then I can like keep the originals? Yo, they can! Oh, it's Barry Jr. Okay, Barry Jr., you hold still. We're gonna bring you to a nice place. Barry Jr., where are you? Hello? Okay, come on, Barry Jr. Yeah, let's go. Barry Jr. has a house. Okay, so we are officially about halfway there at 33 out of the 72 armor pieces, but meanwhile, I've been collecting all this wood, so I'm gonna make the mob grinder a little bit bigger so that this goes faster. Okay, so the one thing I'm worried about is that if I build this up another layer, mobs are just gonna die when they hit the ground, but not if I use the same canals as down here. So I have an idea. I need to find the center canal, which is here, nice, and then we need to open it up. So here's the idea. Let's place a bunch of trapdoors here. This will also protect us. So we'll do this. So here's the issue. I'm gonna use these trapdoors as false blocks, so if we knock them down like this, mobs will walk on them and then fall down to the water below and be brought to the bottom. But the problem with that is that this isn't wide enough for spiders to fall in, so we're gonna have to make sure spiders can't spawn on this layer. Okay, it's time to activate the second layer. Let's break all of these guys, bring down these trapdoors. Okay, so now let's see if the farm's efficiency is improved. Whoa! Do you see that? What? Is that full diamond armor? Hold up a second. There's a 1% to 15% chance that it spawns with armor, and then a 72% chance that it spawns with a full set. I have never seen this in any of my challenge videos. We have to keep it and then like kill it at the end of the challenge and see if it drops it, you know what I'm saying? Here's how we keep them. Let's pillar up. Okay, this might actually be doable. So all the mobs are gonna get stuffed up there. Let's individually kill these mobs. Okay, he's in the boat. How much damage is he gonna do? I'm gonna take a hit from him. Can I get him to break his bow and then move him around? Wait. Skeletons have infinite durability on their bows. You can shoot an infinite amount of arrows. Ah, that's too bad. Okay, I need to see how much of a hit I take from this guy. Can you hit me, please? Wait, where are the arrows going? Where are you shooting? Now it's time to play a little dicey. Here we go, ready? Ready, steady. Ow. Ow! Hey, friend. Yeah, there we go. Yes! Yes. Okay. He's blocked in. Hold up. Ah! Yo, okay, wait. You missed. Oh, sorry. No! He was killed by entity cramming, so he wouldn't have dropped any of his armor. Ah. The rarest thing in all of Minecraft. And I frickin' blew it. Dang it. Ugh. Okay, back to grinding mobs for more gold. Ooh, we've done it. Okay, we're like there. Oh, look at that. Look at that XP. Full bar, level 99. Who's ready for triple digits? Stay calm, everybody. Stay calm. Level 100. Oh, we got another gold, 71. Oh, chat, we're one away. The mob farm has grown. The berries have perished. And today, we get the final piece. One more piece of golden armor. There it is, there it is. Woo, ow, oh no. 72 pieces of golden armor. What a useless waste of time, but we have it. Now, we grab a furnace. All right, we start loading her in. Give me all this goodness. Now we wait. 72, we did it. Well, look at that beautiful gold. And then from here, a golden apple. Okay, now that we have 1 golden apple, we can begin working towards our first villager. You see, I say first villager because technically we need 2, but more on that later. To get the first villager, we need this golden apple, but we also need a witch. You see, one of the ways to get villagers inside of Minecraft is to allow for a zombie villager to spawn, then have a witch throw a potion of weakness on it and right-click it with an apple. This cures it back into a normal villager. Now, this is 1.12, meaning we're not actually gonna get to pick which trait our villager gets. So whatever villager we get, we get. I hope we can get one that gives us emeralds, that we actually have items to trade for emeralds with, but it's all just gonna be up to RNG. Now we're still working on the challenges in the background, but we need to wait for grass to come down from the top of the island to get passive mobs to spawn, as they're essential in finishing the challenges. Meanwhile, if we can get the villagers going, we can open up their items for trade, as well as making an iron farm with them for better tools. That being said though, this means we need a place for witches to spawn and for zombies to spawn. What I might try to do first is I might try to isolate them in the mob grinder first and see if I can just get them out. Oh, I need that witch. Hold up. There you go. I've been hit. I want you like right there. Ah! Oh, look at that! I'm a professional gamer. And now we cover him up so that he can't be throwing splash potions everywhere. All right, so now he's all safe and sound. Now we have to get a zombie villager. Hold up, I see one. This is where things get a little bit real because I am in hardcore. When the witch tries to throw the potions on me, first it's generally gonna throw slowness or it's gonna throw poison. However, once it's poisoned me, it has a chance of throwing harming potions, which could instantly kill me. Let's let him out. Oh, he has an iron sword because of course he does. Oh boy. Oh, the combo hit from him and the witch. I'm gonna have to be extra careful. Not sure a shield's really gonna be that useful for us. Okay, so usually what I would do at this point is I'd get in the boat with the zombie and I'd move him towards the witch. But in this situation, probably best I don't do that. Probably best I move the witch towards him. So, actually let's see how much damage he does to me. This could help. So he does, that's a lot of hearts when I'm already poisoned. Moving the witch to the zombie isn't the huge deal. The problem is I have to stand like right here. All right, so what we're gonna do is bring the witch next to the zombie. There we go. Now I need to lure the witch this way. Hey friend. Okay, now I need to break the zombie boat. There we go. No, zombie. Zombie, no! No, zombie, you actual idiot! Where were you going? Shut up, witch. Time to get another one. Oh, there's another one. I see another one. I just killed him! I hate my life. Oh! Gosh, dang it. It's another one. And he has armor. This time we don't mess up. Sprinting punch! Sprinting punch! Now we hope he throws poison on me first. Now throw weakness. Oh, weakness! Oh! Look how quick that was! Oh, that was like not even painful. Okay, you need to get yeeted. Turn! Come on, zombie! Be my friend! Escalate your turn! What has happened to me? Why have I gone from celebratory to dying? What has actually happened to me? So here I am, fiddling around with the zombie, as I do. Okay, so I have now joined him for some obscure reason, but when I get out, excuse me, Minecraft, this is not how it works. Why am I in the ceiling? This is the stupidest thing ever. Okay, wait, hold up. Okay, we place water. I don't know if the water's gonna help us swim up or not. Nope, it does. I placed it on the wrong block anyway. There's no immunity glitch. There's nowhere to go. Oh, no! No! Ah! I hate my life. What a stupid, stupid, stupid way for that to happen. Oh! I should have sailed off with the zombie. Here we go. Oh no. Okay. Don't blow me off. Nobody see me. Nobody spot me. So let me give you a rundown on what I think happened. When we got stuck in the block over here, while the zombie villager was turning, we left the game to use the immunity factor. What I didn't know was in 1.12, mobs can phase through blocks if you join and leave the game. That's why when we joined and left, there was like 10 mobs waiting for us, wanting to kill us. And then long story short, the water I used to untrap myself, which I probably didn't need in the first place, pushed the zombie villager off who was in the middle of turning, making us lose the golden apple and the potion and the villager. So our villager is now floating down into the abyss. Okay, but that means that we need to now get 72 more pieces of golden armor just to get the first villager. And keep in mind, we need another one after this. So... is that another diamond one? I see him. I see him with my eyes. Okay, I got it this time. Oh, he does full diamond. That is so crazy. Hey, buddy. I'm gonna put you over here where you'll be nice and safe. Right in this boat. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now. Yo, what's good, zombie man? Oh, I'm naming him Arnold. Hey, Arnold. Back to what I was doing. Oh, we're one away. Oh, we're one away. Hold up. It's time to redeem ourselves for the villager that we yeeted off the edge and regain the long-lost friend of ours. Regain our dignity while we're at it. Come on. Yes! We have redone it! For the second time. Round 2, boys. Round 2. It's lock-in time. Okay, witch. Come here, friend. Oh, zombie. Okay, oh, there's 2. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by his toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. All right, this one was chosen. Hiya. All right, let me get an apple. Excuse me? What the heck just happened? He's in a boat. He shouldn't be able to despawn. Hold the heckins up. Can a mob despawn while in a boat? Mobs riding in boats don't despawn and count towards the mob cap. As of when? 1.16? Really? I thought that was always a thing. All right, well, I guess we'll be going to get some new ones. Okay, take 2. There we go! We are getting so lucky! There we go! We got our first villager! All right, now that we have our first villager, we can start working on our next big goal, which is getting another villager. Yeah, we have to go get 72 pieces of armor again, or get some pigs to spawn and potentially turn them into zombie pigmen. Getting to 72 pieces of armor, take 3. Wait. Hold your horses, everybody. After 17 long years, our grass has finally made it to the spawning area. Okay, so now we can fill in the rest of this area, or at least as much as we can, and the grass should start to spread. And then hopefully we should get some passive animals here. So, just come to the realization that it is possible that the berries are filling the mob cap, preventing passive animals from spawning over there. I can check entities. I'm looking at 216 entities. Well, that's including eggs though. Oh, maybe it's the top? I don't think 1.12 has it in the F3 menu. All right, let's look this up. Passive mob count, 10? Oh no. All right, here's the plan to save the berries. We're going to bridge out at the risk of my life, might I add. 100 or 200 blocks that way, whatever makes us out of render distance from spawn chunks, and try and lead all the berries there. I'm sure it's gonna work flawlessly. Here we go. Let's risk the entire challenge on this. All right, the bridge is ready. The berries are prepped. It is time to go. Berries, follow me. Oh my God, this looks hilarious. Oh, this is great. Oh no, there's so many are being left behind. Come, my followers. Come, my followers. Yo, this is sick. I'm not gonna die from entity cramming from this, right? To the nether region. Yes, chat, believe it or not, this is beating Skyblock. This is a very, very important part. Oh no. Come on, oh, their little feet. Listen to their little feet. Oh, they're so cute. It's like, all right, we've done it. We've done it. Let's go. Whoa, it's a slime chunk. Give me. Yo, it's a slime chunk. I don't know how useful. Oh, we can make leads. Nice. Something spawn, please. Please. Oh, it's really out of all the passive mobs that could spawn. Really? Don't give me that look, Barry. Don't you dare give me that look. Oh, it's a black sheep. Oh, it's a ship. Hello, ship. Hold up, we are getting things now. We are cooking now. Come on, you two. Pet sheep can be named Tony. Oh, it's a cow. Moo-moo. Moo-moo. We have something of usefulness. Milk. Milk. Come visit your brothers. Oh, hello, friends. I'd ride you, but I have no saddle. This is one pig, though. That's good. Should we get another pig? That's even better. Oh, no. Oh, that could have been bad if I killed that pig. chat! Oh, finally. Feels good, boys. All right, let's get this going. Hey, friend. Hey, friend. Come on. There you go. Okay. Come here. It's raining. Perfect. I almost forgot. Yes. Oh, run away. Okay, it's time. It is time. We got the apple. Okay, he's poisoned me. Now he has a percentage chance of throwing the weakness. He threw harming. Oh, we did it. He did it. Oh, I got it. Oh, that feels so good. Oh, we're gonna have 2 villagers. Okay, don't hit the villager, Nathan. Okay, now we wait. Oh. Okay, let's bring him to his friend. Park ya right there. Look at them. They're already in love. They're looking away. They're looking complete opposite directions from each other. You know what? I'll leave you guys to it, okay? I want to get the villagers to breeding before we work on the next big goal. So, we need a place for you guys. I need a place to put the villagers temporarily. I'm like a little worried because I'm pretty sure mobs have spawned back here before, or at least gotten back here. We lose these villagers, I will have severe trauma. Okay, so this is the area we'll put them in. Now let's go make some doors for them. And then we need to bring the villagers. Then we need to put this guy next to his friend. Okay, so now we go... Boop. Oh! Oh, he almost yeeted! No! Come back! Sir! Sir! Oh! That was trauma! Almost 20 hours wasted. Okay, this guy, I need to be careful. We're building a wall. Okay, you know what we're doing? We're going for it. Please. Please. Oh, whew. Let's give them 2 beds back here. And then let's move my bed farther away. Just until we get the librarian. You know, it might be worth it to be trading some rotten flesh. Like, I don't know if my worry about them not breeding is actually founded in anything, but these guys are so finicky that like, I ain't taking chances. So let's close up all these areas. Okay, now you two, stop being on opposite ends and go attract each other, okay? Alrighty, I know what I want to work on next here. While the villagers are waiting to breed, I think we should work on finishing off all the other quests that Skyblock itself has so that we can get on to the quests of actually beating the game. Okay, so first things first, let's get the easy one. Okay, let's make some... Oh, okay, 10 cactus dye. There we go, quest completed. We could do paintings. Paintings. Beautiful. Look at this decor. All right, let's make a fishing rod. We're gonna go fishing. Alrighty. Hopefully it only needs to be 1 layer deep. This is terribly exciting. Oh, there's a fish. Yeah, I haven't lost it, boys. Oh, what's up? I didn't even know pufferfish existed. It's Puffy. Oh, hello, Puffy. We got a 10 cooked fish. We're also gonna need to get all the colors of wool, which means we need all the dyes. All right, let's just get all the flowers that we can, and then kind of from there figure out what do we need. And with that, we can make a pair of shears, and then we need to slowly shear this guy to our 10 wool. And every time he eats grass, we should be able to get some more. So we got 10 light gray, 10 yellow, 10 red, 10 green, 10 pink, 10 orange. Oh, we need gray. How do we get gray? I mean, I know it's black and white, but we don't have black. So I'm struggling to figure out how we get gray sheep right now, but there's a potential chance, I don't remember how this works, but there's a potential chance that if we breed our black sheep with a white sheep, maybe we get a gray sheep. I think what's actually gonna happen is we're gonna get either black or white. I think it's gonna choose between the two, but it's worth a shot. All right, let's see. Breed you two. Oh, it is mixed. Oh, it's such a genius. That'll be so good. Hello. Oh, sorry. Keep doing your thing. Thank you. Okay, I think we have all the wool. Okay, so we've done 30 out of the 33 quests, which means we need to finish the last 3, which are craft 10 bookshelves, get 10 ender pearls, and get 10 snow golems.
Okay, now we need to trade with the villagers for ender pearls. Okay, that's all the ender pearls that we need. Now we need to gather 10 bookshelves.
And then we do this, and then we do this. We've done it! 32 out of 33 of the quests completed, with only 1 remaining. Get 10 snow golems. Woo! Yes! More snow! Here we go. Oh, it's Frank. We have completed Skyblock. This is it. The final quest has been completed by the 10 Franks and their new home. 33 Skyblock quests. The base of Skyblock. The quests you need to complete to claim that you have beaten the Skyblock map. But you see, we're here to complete those quests, although they are needed along the way. We have no desire to be amongst the tens of thousands who have completed those quests. We are here to summon a nether portal out of thin air, enter the nether, extract the blaze rods, then summon an end portal out of thin air to beat the game. That's what we're here for. And to do it, we're gonna use methods that you've never seen in a YouTube video before. We're gonna cultivate them into a plan that probably won't work, but has a tiny chance of working. And if we pull it off, we will claim the title of the first person to ever beat the original Skyblock map. Now that we finished the quest, we need to work on our next big goal, getting to the nether. Now, currently, there's no way to get to the nether, since normally if we have lava, I'd use something like dripstone to duplicate the lava. However, you can't get dripstone in 1.12. Now, I could use a duplication glitch, but I'd prefer not to do something like that. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos, I was able to respawn chunks, and in theory, that would get me lava, except it doesn't work in 1.12. I would have to change my version to 1.21, but then there's no way to get it back to 1.12, and at the same time, I don't want to switch versions in this video, so we need to come up with a different way to get the lava. Now, the astute among you might be wondering why we're not using this map, the one that comes with the sand island. It is technically an official map by Noob Crew, and although it doesn't allow you to get to the end, it does give you the resources to get to the nether. So the obvious choice to make getting to the nether easier would have been to use this map. Except, Noob Crew broke the nether in this map. If we build our portal and head in here, what you see is this guy, a little glowstone island and a bunch of void. Now, the void isn't too much of a problem. The problem is it's the same as the overworld and it's only 1,000 by 1,000. By traveling to the edge of the map, you can see that there's still terrain here, but as per the rules, we can't go in this terrain. However, in the very original version of Skyblock, there was no rule about entering nether terrain because there was no ability to access the nether. Since this version of the game only gives us 1,000 by 1,000 area, we can't use it. We need to use the original map so that we can spawn into normal terrain as soon as we enter the nether. There's no rule against it, and we can use the entire area to build our machine. So since we don't have any obsidian given to us, this means we need to create lava out of thin air. And to do it, we need to make a machine that can perform an action called save stating. If we can pull this off, we can place ordinary stone down and use it to spawn lava. And that's where Angern comes in, a 1.12.2 redstone veteran. I'm gonna call him and see if he can help me make a machine that can theoretically get me the lava. Yo. Oh.
Okay, so now save state, because seeing this machine without knowing what it's going to do, well, it doesn't really make much sense. So
I have no idea what this thing does.
if you look at me, I'm going to do something really fun here.
Oh.
So I just regenerated this chunk.
Okay.
Like, this is the original terrain that was here in Skyblock before the original creator just deleted it.
Right. It's missing like all the ores.
Yeah, because these 4 chunks have only just generated and they haven't populated. What is population? Population is the second thing that happens after chunks gets created. I populated the chunk in this corner.
Oh, so it's granite too. Like it's not just ores, it's like it's everything that isn't stone basically.
Yeah, and we got lucky, and this is the part that is of interest to us.
Right, the lava.
This is also placed during population. Okay, so we are going to harvest that lava.
But there's only one lava source there.
It's actually RNG based.
Ah. Okay, so sometimes it spawns and sometimes it doesn't?
Yeah. Also, it's important to note how population is done. When a chunk is populated, its population area is a 16 by 16 square that is 8 block offset in the positive X and Z direction from the chunk itself. This means that most of the blocks get placed in the 16 by 16 area, which is at the center of the 2 by 2 grid of chunks that need to be loaded for the population to actually occur. So what we will do here is try to harvest that population by doing something like this. You can just build something like this. So now I'm going to repopulate this chunk and hopefully let's see what happens. Oh, there we go.
Oh, so since we don't have any actual chunks in our world, I'm gonna place down the stone and the game's gonna think that that's a real chunk and then try to place lava in it.
Yeah, what Minecraft tries to find is a formation that looks like this. For example, this one. And it says, I'm going to try to place, I don't know, water here. So now what Minecraft will try to do is check all the 6 adjacent faces. The one at the top and the one at the bottom will always need to be some kind of solid block like stone. And it needs to have a face that is uncovered.
Okay, so it needs to have an area to flow out and then everywhere else needs to be covered essentially. Correct, yeah.
Of course, you could actually just come here and try to harvest the lava that is here, but...
Except Skyblock has a rule that you can't take any resources from the mainland, so that would be cheating.
That feels like cheating, so you are going to only harvest lava that goes here. Let me check first how many rows you could actually build. Could do it like this. Oh. Yeah, it's 3.
Now, Anger never explains this, but the reason we're building our fake chunk so close to the world border is because of how the Skyblock map was made. You see, population manipulation only works with chunks that haven't been generated yet, but since Noob Crew manually destroyed all the blocks around the Skyblock island, they loaded all the chunks by flying through them. However, for some reason, they didn't load the chunks around the perimeter of the map, so all the void chunks 1 chunk away from the edge are still unloaded.
So now we are going to talk about save state. Okay, look at the stuff inside.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what we have in these books, you can actually just take one of them and take a look for yourself. We have the Chinese Constitution here.
Oh, like the actual Chinese Constitution?
Well, that's just a running joke for safety.
Oh, okay.
So there's a thing with Chinese characters. They weight like a lot more than our normal characters, such as these ones. So we can actually try to get a lot of information inside 50 pages. You are going to need to copy and paste these books, by the way.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
One of the rules is not coming here, so you need to actually somehow save state this chunk without ever entering it.
Save stating the chunk before we enter it is the most important part here because it's by definition what allows us to do this entire machine. By putting a lot of information in this chunk by using books, the game fails to save the chunk, and the chunk is left without being fully generated while the books or information are present in the chunk, allowing us time to mess around in the area before Minecraft's actually able to save the population data. By stopping the game's ability to save here, it can't generate population data, which is what we're gonna take advantage of. Right.
And without placing blocks in it.
Yeah, like, I don't get how... Yeah, that's the part that's confusing me. I don't get how we enter the chunk without...
Yeah, we are not ever entering the chunk, by the way. Here comes the machine. Now you will actually understand why it's this way. What we are going to do here on this spot, we are going to have 2 minecarts with chests filled with the save state books.
Oh.
And whenever we get near the border, like let's say that the machine is already at the location, you are going to need to be fast for this because, as I've said, there's the 45-second timer from the first time you load the chunk. So in those 45 seconds, you need to actually get the machine to in place, activate this piston, and now the minecarts will just come here and they will fall in our target chunk.
Now, to clarify, we're never entering the terrain around the Skyblock map. The rules of Skyblock state we cannot enter the normal terrain of the world, and additionally, I'm not gonna reach over and take anything either. If this entire map was a void, we could still save state this chunk and do the technique. The terrain being here just changes the machine we use, but it's not needed. The only reason we're using the edge of the map is because Noob Crew, the creator of the map, wandered in all chunks of the map except near the edge, and we need an unloaded chunk to make the machine work. Okay, so here's the game plan. Get all the materials we've been collecting together, build the machine, launch the books into the save state chunk that controls our void chunks, which will in essence pause the loading of the chunk, build some radiators or fake chunks, relog to have the books destroyed, and pray that RNG blesses us with some lava. Simple. Now at this point you might be wondering, is this how we get to the end? And the answer is kind of, but no. We will be utilizing save stating to get to the end, but not with using population data like this. End portal frames are not part of population data, so trying to respawn them anywhere wouldn't work. Also, there is no end portal in this entire 1000 by 1000 area, so even if we had a way to respawn it, there's not one to actually respawn in our area. Okay, so to get the necessary supplies for this machine, we're gonna need an iron farm for some iron, we're gonna need powered rails, we're gonna need redstone components, and we're gonna need book and quills. I think the thing I want to tackle first is going to be the iron farm. Now, we're going to need to make an iron farm that's pretty efficient because we not only need iron right now for rails so that we can do the save stating, but we also need iron later when we need to do redstone components like pistons and other things for a giant redstone machine that's going to respawn the end. So I want to make sure the iron farm we build right now will be usable even at the end of this challenge. I want to make the iron farm directly above us on this new platform that we're making, but that means we need to get the villagers up there. If he'll naturally go towards a bed, I could make a staircase up and just place a bed that he'll just keep chasing. This works in the newer versions, but I'm just not sure it works in this version. Whoa. This man is booking it. So in this version, they don't target beds. Instead, they target doors. Well, heck. How on earth do we get villagers up there? Okay, wait. What about this? I think the piston might be the only way, which is really unfortunate to say the least. Okay, so if we're gonna use the piston method, we need to get this guy over here, and then I place a lever down, and then I do that. And then from there, what we do is we build a block off of it, then we make him go on to the piston, we break the old piston. This is why I did not want to do this method. Now we put a block here, and then we put a piston here, and then we do this, and then we do this, and we have to do this all the way up. We have to do this all the way up to there. Oh, lordy. Let's go, boys. One villager up. Okay, let's make another boat, and let's go for that villager, because it'll be easier because he's already high up. Okay, both villagers are up here. Let's destroy the pillars, set up some sort of breeding chamber for them up here, and then start working on the iron farm. Okay, so now that we're up here, let's fence in a little area for the villagers to inhabit. And then we need to place some doors. And then place some blocks over said doors. And then give potatoes to said villagers, and then we just hope that's enough. We need to create some way to get up and down to the next layer easily. What if I make an enclosure so it's impossible to die? For those of you who don't know why we have PTSD when it comes to ladders, we did a challenge on the second channel where we had to beat Minecraft from the nether roof. Almost at the end of the challenge, we fell off a ladder and died, like 5 hours away from completing it, which sparked a 16-hour-long stream of getting back to where we were. It was very traumatic. But look how safe I'm being. What you do? Oh, it's the arts! Come on, do the smooches. Oh, there's a child! Whee! See, we're fine. We need to find a iron farm 1.12.2. Oh, this was the farm. Oh my gosh, the nostalgia. I built so many of these farms. My only worry about this is glass. Does it need to be glass? All these farms are using glass. Oh, wait. Couldn't we trade for somebody? Hold up. Somebody traded for something, didn't it? Who traded for glass? Oh, nice, we're to glass. Okay, so we can get glass. Perfect. All right, it is time to make the iron farm. So we're gonna build this farm on this platform, which means I need to center it. So here we place blocks on top of all the doors. This makes it simulate an actual like village. Because similar to earlier, when the villagers needed a block above the door to breed, in the same way they need a block above the door here to spawn a golem. Water goes there. Okay, now we have to focus on the villager pockets, which I believe go on all four sides if I remember correctly. To get the villagers in the pouch, I'd suggest building a villager breeder at least 70 blocks away and a minecart track to transport them. You will need 10 villagers for the farm to work, okay? So how many villagers do we have in here? We might need more doors. So let's get them breeding up. So it goes glass here. So this is where the 10 villagers are gonna go. So while these villagers are spending some time breeding so we can stash that full of villagers, I'm going to destroy this horrendous thing, expand this island a little bit, and hopefully by then, the villagers should have procreated. There's enough in here now to start transporting them though. So we need to get them out one at a time is what we need to do, which could be a little bit tricky. So let's bring this man over here. So let's get this guy going up. No, I got him. I got you, nitwit. I'm so sorry, sir. Okay, so this time he shouldn't suffocate. We'll watch a little bit closer this time. Okay, I think we're good this time. Come on. Yeah, let's go. Okay, one villager in. Oh, he's almost in. Yeah, let's go. Okay, go on. Go on. There we go, nice. Okay, that's 3. Fly, fly, friend. There we go. Did he still get hurt? What happened? So if a villager is a baby and he gets put in a small area, when he grows, if his hitbox goes into the blocks beside him, he can get out. He can just phase out. Oh, that's interesting. You're not getting out so easily. Come on, you're a grown-up now. No! No, not the child! I got him, I got him. He's dead. Okay, this is the last villager I want to bring up here. So in total, I think we have 6 up here, and then we've left 4 down there. The reason I want to do that is because I want a toolsmith to get diamond tools. So hopefully these guys will breed me a toolsmith, and these guys should continue breeding in their hole as long as they have potatoes, which I'll probably have to get some more of, but they should eventually breed up to 10 in there. All right, so we've got all the villagers into their box now. Now we just have to wait and see if this thing like works. I'm gonna wait to put lava in here for the iron golems until we know it works because I want to keep mining cobblestone until then. All right, while I wait for the villagers to do their thing and see if iron golems spawn, we should begin working on the other things that we need to respawn the nether portal. You see, we need the minecart and we need the tracks, but we also need book and quills. Now, we can get books from librarians or simply from our cows and our sugarcane, but to get ink sacks, that's gonna be a little more tricky. What we're gonna need to do is either find a river biome or an ocean biome. And once we do that, we can build a squid farm, and with that, we can get our ink sacks to make the book and quills. That'll be the last thing we need to be able to respawn the nether. So the river biome is supposed to be somewhere around here. Here it is, here's river, okay. We need to find a wide area of the river to build this squid farm. Okay, it looks like we have a big enough square here in the river. If we just keep expanding this, then we can make our farm here, nice. All right, so I've just learned that the water has to be between Y level 43 to Y level 62, which means our platform down here is considerably too low. Let's get up to our top platform, which means, oh, this is a waste. Gosh, frickin' dang it. Oh, hello, friend. Finally, some iron. Okay, so I've built this platform on the correct Y level, right above our old platform. So the first thing I'm gonna do though is destroy the old platform because it's ugly, and then we're gonna work on the squid farm up here. So now that we're up at the correct height, let's figure out where this thing needs to go. Is there a spider over there? Oh, the snowmen are assaulting. Get him, snowman. Oh, they're going at him. This is sick. Get wrecked, nerd. So the plan is to fill in this entire chunk, then build the squid farm in this chunk. Only about 80% of it is actually a river biome though. Some of it's extreme hills, but that'll still be optimized enough for the squid we need. But what we need to do is we need to build up walls all the way till Y72. So we're at 49 right now. So we gotta go up 20 blocks. So then we need to, every other block, we need to break. All right, now that the farm is built, we need to start optimizing where we put our fence gates and our signs. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put water in all of these holes up here. It's gonna flow down to the base. We're gonna break away this floor so that the squids will then fall to their death. However, we need to stop the water from flowing once it hits the floor. And to do that, I'm gonna use fence gates and I'm gonna use signs. The first thing we wanna do is we wanna map out where all of the water flows down. This is what we wanna do first. So first we need to put a slab between all of these spots. So on this side, to stop the water from flowing, we can just put a sign. So this will go on all the ends. And then for all the slabs, we put the fence gates like this. At this moment, the water can flow left and right. So we're gonna need to put things to stop it from going left and right, which means we need slabs. So now we place a fence gate in all of these. So as we do this lane, we're gonna start breaking these blocks, and then we need to place a fence gate here. So basically what we're doing is we're trapping the water in a column here so that when a squid will spawn, he'll just flow all the way to the bottom and out into the oblivion. Nice. Okay, did we screw any of these up? I have no idea. Doesn't matter if we did, because it's the way it's gonna be now, boys. That part of the farm is done. Now, if I did this correct, then we should be able to pillar up to here. Let's see if I did this right. So if I did this right, I should be able to place water in all of these cubes, and none of it should flow out of the farm, if I built this farm correctly. Here we go. Is my farm flawless? Oh, I see no flowing. Oh, it was a squid. Oh, it works. And they're just all falling to their death. Oh no. We have infinite squiddles. It's so comical watching them fall. Oh, our first ink sac. Dear God. Everything works. Oh. Okay, now we have to worry about a redstone farm and a slime farm. Before we worry about that though, I want to try to trade with some of the villagers for better tools because I am sick of using stone and iron tools. Oh, finally! Finally, we have a toolsmith. Give me diamond, 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 diamond. Oh, that's what we want. 186 days with a stone pickaxe. It breaks so nice. Okay, so I think we have enough blocks to at least get started on the slime farm. Nice. So now we gotta wander away. You know what, while that's going actually, let's work on the redstone portion of this. Okay, 1 emerald for 4 redstone. Nice. I think it's working! Okay, at this point, we just need to wait for slime, wait for iron, and continue trading with the villagers to get more redstone. Okay, so we've got about half the redstone we need and about half the slime we need. But we still need to fill all the books with the complex characters if we're gonna pull this off. So we're gonna need to go get the materials now to actually make the book and quills necessary to fill with the complex characters. Okay, we got the books, we got the squid. If I do this, nice, I can turn them all into book and quills. Okay, so we saw what those books can do, and because of that, we need to make sure that we keep them in separate chunks to avoid killing this. So, if we place 1 chest in this chunk, 1 chest in this chunk, and then 1 chest in this chunk, and we divide the books amongst the chunks, we should stop anything crazy from happening at our base at least. I'm not quite sure what would happen if we did do it to our base exactly. It might be nothing, but at minimum, we would lose all the books, and I don't want to do that. So we have at least 1 of the chests done, which means we can start filling it with complex characters. Now, in order to create these books, what I need to do is I need to open one of the books, and then we're gonna have to fill up the first 50 pages with the Chinese alphabet. Okay, we are almost to the end of the first 50 pages, which means we can sign this book and get out of here. Okay, 49, and then page 50. We sign this book and we call it 1, and then sign and close. Nice. So we have the first book done. Okay, so this is the number 1 book. Now we need to make the number 2 book, which will be pages, well, 1 to 50 again, but then we should be set from there. And then all we'll need to do is make copies of books. All right, so now we have to do this 1 more time, and then we're done. 48, 49. All right, sign. We go 2 and original, okay. And then we'll put this one over here. Oh. My poor wrists. So now I'm gonna take this book and I should be able to make a copy of it. Now, what's important is that I keep the original and I don't accidentally screw that up. Yeah. We have to be careful that we don't overload any of the chunks with too many books. So before I go creating all the rest of these books, I'm gonna check to see if this amount of books in here is too many and is already overloading this chunk and killing it. So to test this, before we go off and like finish making all the books, we're going to run away. Okay, so I'm at a render distance. I save and quit. We load back in. And then if that chest is still there, then it's fine. Yeah, we're fine. This is exactly how much we need. Let me throw this into here. Okay. If I bring book 2 over. So we got 14 in this chest, and then we need 14 in the other chest. So we have all the books that we need. Now we're really just waiting on redstone and slime. All right, so the first thing I want to make is a ton of pistons, which requires redstone. Yeah, let's go. All right, 64 pistons. That should be okay. So we got our pistons. Then we need some slimy boys. Yeah. All right, we got our slime. We'll make 60 redstone blocks. We need to make some rails. I believe a stack should be fine. All right, and then one of the last things we need to do is smelt all of our armor. We actually need the stone as well. Okay, we'll grab all the stone because we're gonna need this. Then we need 2 minecarts, and we need to make it into a minecart with a chest. And we need to bring these with us. Okay, and so the last thing we need to do, and then this, yeah, 6 powered rails. All right, now that we have all the resources to respawn the nether, we actually need to go and do it. Now, the machine can't actually get built on the island. We need to build it about 1,000 blocks that way, so time to bridge, and hopefully not fall off and die. So much wood. Let's do this during the day so that we don't screw it up and die. Okay, this is actually really important. We need to reduce our chunk distance down to 2 now. If I had forgotten to do that, that would not have been good because I would have populated. The bridge begins. I ain't falling off, not today, boys. So we've gotten as far this way as I want to go. Now we have to go, it's just a black abyss. Now we have to go that way. All right, we gotta go that way approximately another 500 blocks. Okay, this should be the last stack, and then we can turn F3 back on and monitor where we actually need to go from there. I need to figure out where exactly the place we need to go is. Okay, so we're to the edge. All right, we have reached the location that we need to build the machine at, but we need to build it much taller than where we are. So I'm gonna make my most feared item. Okay, so now we need to go back and get the rest of the stuff. Let's grab all the stuff out of this chest now, or at least as much of it as we can carry. Okay, now we have to get back to the same spot we were just at. So I brought all the supplies over here, and now we have to build up. So I'm gonna take my cobblestone here. I'm gonna make sure I stay in my chunk. Okay, let's put a torch here because we already know one mob will spawn there. Okay, hug the ladder. I believe we are on it. I do not believe we're about to fall off the ladder to our death. Thing is, I can't like jump off and on because I don't know how close the ground is. So I just gotta do the ladder the whole way. This looks so cursed, just going into the abyss like that. All right, so now what we need to do is bring all of our resources up to the ladder that goes to frickin' wherever that goes. Okay, we are back to the top. Okay, so we've arrived at the right height, and now it's time to actually build the machine. First, I'm gonna build a little platform that's gonna run along the entire thing. This will make it a little bit easier to build and manage anything that we're doing. Okay, so the bridge is done, and now we need to actually start building the machine. Okay. Okay, so we finished building the machine. However, we need to push this machine about 30 blocks that way. Currently, this machine has no engine on it. Although all these blocks could move, it needs something to push them. All right, so at the back of the machine, we're gonna design what's called a caterpillar engine. Okay, so first we need to place some pistons back to back. There we go. Then we need a slime block here. This, do this. There we go. Okay, right there. Okay, and then lastly, we'll place a dropper here. The reason we want that here is because it's an immovable block. So the machine's gonna run into this dropper and then stop. And when it stops, that's when we can use it. However, to use it, we need to go back to the base and get the books because I forgot to bring them. Okay, now that we're back, let's grab all the books. We should be able to carry them in our inventory as long as we keep them stacked. Oh. I may have just made an error. Okay, this is actually really important. We need to reduce our chunk distance down to 2 now. If I had forgotten to do that, that would not have been good because I would have populated. So I just ran on my bridge back towards the machine, and I kept my render distance on 15, which is bad because when I'm out there, I need to keep my render distance on 2. This is because we're right at the perimeter of the world, and I need to keep those chunks unloaded in order for this machine to work. And so what I might have just done is loaded them all, which will be very bad and means my machine will not work. So time to find out if that happened. Oh no. Okay, so there's really no good way for us to know if it's broken or not, so we just gotta use the machine and find out. All we need to do at this point is activate this by placing a block under one of these pistons. I'm not sure if it's specific as to which piston. I'm gonna guess it's not. Okay. I'm gonna stay near the back. This does also act as a rail duper. This is really loud in my ears. I need to stay in this chunk. Okay, so the machine has stopped. We did dupe all these rails. That was not intentional, nor do I need them. So I'm just gonna do this. So chest minecart goes there. We take book number 2 and we arrange them in the same pattern. And then we put 13 of book number 1 in there, okay? And then we place a minecart down here and we take book 1 and we do this. And then we load this with book number 2. All right, so now I've done everything correctly. Everything is in the right place. I need to make sure I don't step out of this chunk as well. Piston goes there, okay? So, are you ready? Here we go. Books are ready. Books are in the first slot. I know where they are. We need to save, come back in, sort the books, and then launch. Save the game. We go back into the game. Timer has begun. We now have 45 seconds. Put all the books in. Don't screw anything up. Break this. Launch. Now we need to follow. We need to follow very slowly. Oh, crud! No! Where did he go? Oh, crud. No, this is bad. Shoot. Shoot. Why did that have to happen? So this either just worked or it didn't work. I really don't have much of an option now. I just need to play like this is gonna work. Wait, no, it launched 2 chunks. So I should be fine to put water here. Let me back up a little bit. I'm a little nervous about moving. So, okay, we need to build down. We need to be very cognizant. Oh, fudge. Oh, fudge me. Why did this have to go like this? Okay, so there's the chunk. No, don't push the minecarts off. Oh, are you actually kidding me right now? Are you actually kidding me? He's gonna push the minecart off the chunk. Oh, I would have died. Oh my gosh, I would have died. That zombie just saved my life. Holy crap. This ice would have melted. I mean, would have frozen. I would have died. That would have been the end. That zombie literally saved our life. I need this water back. I can't leave this area. Okay, I should be able to break it with a block under it. I thought it melted if there's a torch next to it. Doesn't it? Okay, a torch right here keeps us from not dying though, right? Let's back off a little bit because that chunk right there is a real chunk. Let's back off and let's go right here. So we'll place a torch here. So we'll place a torch right there. Let's place our water back down. Okay, here we go. Okay, there are the minecarts. So for those of you who don't know, the original Skyblock map actually has chunks, but one of the rules of the challenge is that we can't step into those chunks. So we're gonna have to stay on the outside. I'm also not gonna grab any resources off the edge of the chunk. I think that's also cheating, but you're gonna see the chunk because I have to be next to it for this. All right, okay, so we delete the water source. This is not nerve-wracking at all. Let's do this. So we launch the minecarts into this chunk, which means we want to come over to this chunk. And then we want to come, is this 2 blocks? Yeah, we want to come 2 blocks away. So 1, 2, okay. And then we want to switch over to stone and right here. And now that we're in this chunk, I'm gonna build 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then on the other side, I'm gonna do the same. And then we do this. Now we need to build up like this. We still don't actually know if I have broken it. This might not work. We actually won't know until we do something here in a minute. And now we need to copy this design on the other side. Well, apparently we can only build 2 rows, so we are just going to stack these rows as high as we can then. So at this point, all we have to do is back off, and then we should just need to sign out of the game, log out, and log back in. And if this works, you will see something very interesting happen, and if it doesn't work, you will see a grown man cry. You ready for the moment where we just get to waste all those resources and time if this doesn't work? Here we go. It worked! Wait. But did we? No. Oh, we just got so... Wait. We got so unlucky. What is this crap? We did not get any lava and we did not get any water for that matter. So we're gonna have to do it all over again. And on top of that, we only have a limited number of tries because there's only so many chunks that haven't been generated in our area before that'll work for this. So in theory, if we got unlucky enough, we could have to restart the challenge, which means we're going to need a ton more stone than we had last time. We can reuse the materials from the machine, but we're also gonna need to generate new books, which means we need more cows. More stone. He's like, no, don't kill me. I'll be a good boy, I swear. Death. Oh no! They're sailing off into the sunset! They didn't want to meet their fate like this, so they took it into their own hands. So I just placed my lava into that piston, which, because it was extended, placed it into the other side, which means I'm guessing there is now a piece of obsidian under here. So that was my only lava in this world, which means if we don't get a piece of lava on this next attempt, we have to restart the whole challenge. We need to make sure before we go, we put our render back to 2, and now we need to find our new spot. It should be to the left of our old spot, since... What? Excuse me. Ah! Ah, what is happening? What is this cursed? Oh, I'm invisible! Okay, I have found the weirdest bug in all of the game. I know that. I am now a one with the void. Okay, I'm relogging. This should fix it. Right? I'm back! Welcome back! Oh, so we wanna go up our ladder because we're gonna be building the machine at the same Y level as this machine was. We're also gonna need to take down this machine and rebuild it, but that should be pretty easy. All right, so this is the old machine. We're gonna need to take it apart here, and we're gonna need to not lose any of the resources that we have here, because I don't have that many spare. So, nice. Should have all the resources now. All right, so we've rebuilt the machine in another area, and it's time for another attempt. Okay. If the whole machine's moving, that's a good sign. All right, so we go book number 2. Okay, so in this one, we're doing 1s. Okay, boys, so then we come here. Okay, and now we log out, and then we log in. Okay. Very slowly follow behind. Well, it's either worked now or it hasn't worked. Okay, bucket goes down, torch goes down, so we need to build down. So now that we're down here, let's build a little platform. All right, here goes. It's out of our hands now, boys. You ready to see? Did it work? Or did the RNG gods kill us again? Not looking good so far. I want to see if my minecarts are still there, because if they are, it means that the 3 extra books that we had last time were needed. Nah, they're gone. It must have been populated. Okay, so this machine failed, which means now our resolve is going to be to have to go back, get more books. Even though we lost our lava and can't get any more stone, we can still just mine the stone below and use it again, but I'm gonna need Silk Touch for that. Okay, I think this is all the resources we're gonna need, plus our Silk Touch pickaxe, to attempt number 4 at regenerating this. This does not, oh. My game immediately just crashed from a malformed input update. Byte 436. That skeleton literally just broke my game. All right, so step 1, let's build the machine again. Let's start the machine, boys. We'll just follow the machine to make sure it doesn't break. Do not walk past that. Okay, so now minecarts begin. Here we go. All right, well, it is what it is now, boys. So this is still in this chunk, so that's good. We've got all the stone that we can. It's time, boys. Here we go. Oh, I see stuff. Oh no. Yes! We have summoned lava out of thin air. So there's one there. There might be one here. Okay, we need buckets. We need buckets, we need buckets. All right, so now that we have a machine that works, what we need to do is get a ton more books, a little bit more stone, a ton more redstone so we can build the new machine, head back over and run it again and again and again until finally we get to the nether. All right, we have all the books and the rest of the materials that we should need to try this again. And now we need to go and harvest our old machine. Yeah. That was me discuss.
Happy birthday to Rumpy, happy day. Happy birthday, oh happy day. It's the day yesterday. Congratulations.
Right.
Train! Hi!
Actually the bane of my existence.
Goodbye, world. Goodbye, berries.
I spent 150 hours all to have it stripped away. Chat, listen to me.
Just sleep, bro. It's not worth it, I swear.
If this
Just
takes
quit.
me 20 hours,
Deserves nothing but hate.
if this takes me 40 hours, God, if this takes me 150 hours, stream does not turn off until we get into the nether. I don't want to hear anything in chat about taking a break. I don't want to hear anything in chat about needing to go to sleep. We don't lose like that, chat. So will you join me as we embark on probably one of the hardest things we've ever done? I don't care if there's 5 of you there, or 1 of you, or 1,000 of you. It begins now, chat.
We aren't building with cobblestone still. Like, we're not gonna be peasants. Every single rule we lay down for the first challenge will be the same, and we will do it in 1/3 of the time. Sometimes the respawn is more powerful than the original. Now we get to prove that. Let's get on with it, boys. With the old world gone, it's time we step into the new world. Here we go, boys. Welcome to Skyblock 2.0. From this timid platform and these resources, we will get to the nether and we will beat the game. Let's begin, boys. Boys! Final piece. A piece of the puzzle. Oh, my head feels better. All right, so I've gotten some sleep. To catch everyone up, let's do a quick island tour. This is the new island. This is the new house. It's not too different from the old one. It might be a little bit nicer this time. This is our 3-story mob grinder. On this island, we have 2 iron farms. This is our fishing shack. This is our staircase that brings us to the safe state chunks. And this is the entire island. It's basically the same as the previous one, just slightly different designs. Now that we've gotten to the nether, we need to focus on our next big goal, getting to the end. And here I gotta come clean. We don't have a working way to get to the end. This entire project was built on a theory I found out a few years ago, and I've asked Angerin to try to look into it and solve some of the issues that Skyblock presents around it. However, Angerin did just text me saying he has a prototype of the machine and that it's a lot smaller than he thought it would be, which is good news. So we're gonna hop on a call with him and see what he's built. Hello, friend.
Well, I wanted to show you how the grid looks, and it just goes and goes and goes. This is the setup. It's pretty simple, actually. It can produce this. There's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense. Let's say that the game crashes. You will come here as fast as possible, pretty easy. You need to just activate the safe state. We trick this chunk into thinking it is not loaded, and it will reload from the beacon thread.
My brain is just so overloaded right now. Okay, so, that was a 3-hour call. I didn't understand half the stuff he said. I'm gonna need to do a lot of research on the components he talked about over the next few weeks to just better understand how we're gonna do this. Whilst I do that, Angerin actually still has to finish the machine because although we have a prototype, we don't have a working prototype. So while those two things happen, we need to focus on getting the resources to build the machine for when it's done. We only know rough numbers of what we need since the machine isn't finished yet, but my main concern right now looking at the list is redstone, beacons, and wood. So those are gonna be our primary focus first. The first thing I wanna build is a villager trading hall since it can supply me with the redstone that I'll need to make a lot of the components. All right, let's see if they baby make. Hey, a child. Hello, child. All right, now that the villagers are breeding, it's just about collecting enough supplies to build them a villager trading hall. So I'm gonna mine a bunch of wood, then go collect some stone, and then come up with some sort of design to put them in. Okay, so I've collected enough blocks to build the trading hall, but I just got an idea. I think instead of like a traditional trading hall, I want to build some sort of like castle, mainly because I don't think I've ever tried to build a castle before. It's probably gonna look terrible, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Let's just like throw around some ideas here. Okay, I think this is looking decent so far, but it currently does just look like a box. So, standing and shooting a bow, but it lit on fire. No, okay. No fire. I think I'm happy with my tower. Yeah, oh no, a child escaped. Get away, parents. Who's ready for the reveal of a lifetime? Wow, art, Picasso. I have never seen something so, the flag could use some work. Oh, this is gonna look beautiful. And what's that? Oh, that's a lot better. You can't tell me that's not a lot better. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I like this tower. So I'm gonna now copy this design on this tower, on that tower. There's gonna be 4 of these towers in this tiny castle. Okay, that doesn't look terrible. It doesn't blend with that well. I like this, but how do we connect it to the corners of the towers? Okay, what about this? What does this look like? I mean, it's looking better.
All right, now that the villagers have started breeding, I'm gonna work on collecting another main resource for the machine, wood, as it's needed for pistons, chests, and hoppers.
Oh, this is taking so long.
Okay, so we got the logs, now we need to focus on redstone again. We have the villagers to trade with, but we don't have materials to trade to the villagers to get emeralds. So we have to figure out what's the optimal thing to trade with them to get all the redstone that we need.
Pumpkins require 8 to 13. Librarians require 24 to 36.
But does sugarcane grow faster than pumpkins?
Let's do a test. Let's say I need the most of each. Let's say there are 13 of each. So the question is, do we get 13 pumpkins first, or do we get 36 sugarcane first? Keep in mind, oh no, pumpkins use 2 blocks. So pumpkins get half. So now let's tick warp for a while. Okay, there's 1 pumpkin. There's another pumpkin. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, sugarcane's growing now. Harvest! Oh, I think pumpkins destroyed them, even with half as many blocks. So this is how many pumpkins we got. I think it's pumpkins.
All right, let's build a pumpkin farm then.
Nice. Okay, cool. La farm est finie.
All right, with the wood gathered and the redstone on its way, let's focus on the beacons as they're the last major hurdle. In order to extract the nether stars from a wither, I'm gonna need to fight dozens of them. So I think it's smart if we head to the nether, look for some fortresses for some diamonds, and make a fully enchanted set of armor.
Are there any nether fortresses near me? Oh, nice. You're what I'm here for, boys. Nice. Now the only thing we're missing is some good old wart. Also, I'd like to look for diamonds. Ooh, wart. Okay, we got our wart. Oh, hello. Oh, let's go. All right. All right, I'm gonna do it. Oh, prop 4, let's get it. Nice, perfect. All right, there's my fire res. All right, back into the nether. All right, boys, time to grind wither skellies and hope we get 3 skulls and don't die. Hello, friend. You giving me junk. Actually, coals. Hello, friend. Do you wish to give me your head? Oh, well. Oh, come on. I swear that arrow wasn't pointed at him. I swear. Listen, guys, we can talk about it. We can talk, I swear. Oh, that one guy is he's just decided that he will come no matter what. Where's he going? All right, well. Hello, friends. Oh, let's go. Please and thank you. Oh, yeah, the please and thank you. And skull. Yeah, let's go, boys. Woo! 6. Get me the heck out of here. Let's make sure we have enough diamonds. So we have pants, helmet, and booties. Nice. All right, feather falling, prop 4, unbreaking 3. That's 6, that's 4, that's 4, that's 7, so this way. Feather falling, prop 4, unbreaking 3, thank you very much. Prop 4, unbreaking 3, thank you very much. And prop 4, unbreaking 3, thank you very much. Okay, we got a shenazzle and dazzling amount of new armor. What I am gonna do is put mending onto my chestplate because I have 1 mending book for 2 solid levels, nice. My chestplate's the closest thing to breaking here, so. All right, power 5, flame, unbreaking 3, mending, nice. So I'm gonna swap my armor here. And now we are ready to fight a wither. We just need to head into the nether and grab some soul sand. All right, let's head into the nether and pick a spot to fight these guys. All right, let's create a nice open area. All right, so let's put 1 wither here and 1 wither here. And then let's get the skulls at the ready. Let's do a little nom. All right, the withers are down here and we're ready to fight them. Now, I did just get an update from Angern, and it turns out we're gonna need to fight like 300 withers instead of the supposed 64 that we originally had to fight. This is because he figured out we need to make more beacons for the machine to work. But for now, I still wanna get the first couple really fast so I can start using beacons on my island to get stuff like efficiency on my pickaxe and for my axe. And we're ready to fight them. We won't do all 200 or 300 withers like this because it would just take too long, but I do want to do the first few like this just because, well, it's fun. Now, am I risking my entire hardcore world for this? Yes. I mean, of course we'll fight them at once, but like, it's 2 withers. The OSHA among you may be thinking, oh no, Mudflaps has no escape route. Whatever will he do? Is that it's not about me having an escape route. You see, I'm not trapped down here with 2 withers, boys. 2 withers are trapped down here with me. And I'm getting hit by them very, very much. Actually, why am I that close? They've immediately left. Hey, I said you were trapped with me. Stop abandoning me. Okay, can you stop leaving the premises? All right. You're making it way too easy for me. Go into an open area so at least you hit me. Someone needs to train this guy how to fight. Clearly was not taught anywhere. The withers are defeated? Yeah, make 2 beacons. Now the question is, do we have enough iron to make a full beacon? I think we might have close to enough anyway. All right, let's put a beacon in a really inconvenient place. Okay, we have a full-fledged beacon now. If I take a mineral, what do I want? I want speed and regen. All right, now that we've got our first 2 beacons, we need to work on getting the next 200 or 300 of them. Now, there's no wither roses in 1.12, so making a wither farm is a little bit more difficult, but I think I found a design that I like. However, the first step in making a wither farm is gonna be taking a fortress and putting slabs over the entire thing to prevent spawning, which means I'm gonna need a ton of blocks. I think I'm gonna use cobblestone for the slabs, so I'll grab a bunch of it from here. Probably gonna need way more than this, but we can come back for it. All right, so there's our nether fortress. So now we gotta worry about slabbing this entire thing to get a wither farm going. All right, so the bounding box for this nether fortress should be somewhere from this corner to the corner of that bridge over there. Meaning, we're gonna need to clear all this zone of spawnable area. It'll take a while, boys. We're gonna have to eliminate every single spawning part of this fortress that is like anywhere within this region. We can help us ourselves out a little bit by lowering the render distance, but it's not gonna help that much. I'm realizing there might be a bit of an issue with our wither farm. Simply put, we don't have a good spot on the fortress that is far away from land because the nether fortress bounding box is going to include, well, it only includes up to here, I guess. Hold up, let me see how far that pathway is. Okay, I think I've covered enough of the area that I want to cover for now, which means I want to focus on building the wither farm. The wither farm is essentially just one long tunnel, so I have to basically choose one of these giant walkways to build it on, and I think I'm gonna build it on this walkway here. This will probably mean that we're gonna have to slab this area, but I just kind of want to build the farm and see how efficient it is to see if we need to worry about that. So the first thing we need to do is clear out these rails because we're gonna need a flat space to actually build this farm on. Okay, now that we have the location picked out and the area mostly slabbed, there is one more resource that we're needing, daylight sensors, which I know makes no sense because there's no sun here, but it'll make more sense in a second. However, to get daylight sensors, we're gonna need a ton of glass. This is the crafting recipe requires 3 glass, 3 quartz, and 3 slabs. So I'm gonna go back to the overworld and hopefully trade to get that. Okay, so if we need to get glass, the first thing I need to do is find my farmer in this absolute mess of villagers. Oh, here he is. So first things first, I just need to get him to unlock his future trades. Alright, now to get the glass, I'm gonna need to level up this librarian the cheapest way possible. Alright, we're gonna trade for this. So 28, should be able to trade again. Okay, so that's 1 stack. Okay, I think this should be enough glass. Okay, so to make the daylight sensors, I need to convert this. I need to do this. And there we go, 64. I think I got all the supplies that I need, which means it's time we can actually build the wither farm. All right, so to get this farm working, the first thing I need to do is delete this whole center slab. I'm gonna start it here maybe. So all the daylight sensors go in the middle. All right, perfect. Okay, so we have the daylight sensors down. So what I need to do is I need to place a block, place a slab, and then place a stair that points inwards. Okay, so we need to get rid of this row of slabs, and then we need to place an entire row like this. So what this should enable is the daylight sensor has a different height map than a slab, which should allow us to poke our head over this wall. But because the wither skeletons are taller, they should be the only mob that sees us. This way the blaze won't be targeting us and any other mobs like magma slimes and things. Essentially, we're just optimizing it for wither skeletons to chase us. We're gonna run all the way down the line as they chase us. Then they're gonna fall into a pit where I'll grind them out. We have the middle portion done. Now what we need to do is bridge out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then the wall goes up. Okay. So we need to fill in a platform that runs this wide all the way till the end.
All right, so I've made a platform that goes all the way out with nether brick. The next thing we need to do is create a roof over the entire thing using slabs.
Okay, so what we need to do is make a bunch of this into slabs. I think it's this, right? So this is over here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, trying to figure out the height. Wither skeletons, they might not be 3 blocks tall. I need to figure out where to put this slab. Oh no, it is 3. Oh, good, I checked that. Okay, no, it is 3. So it's 3, and then bottom slab. That's the correct height, okay. Okay, so we need to design the actual kill chamber for these wither skeletons. So to build this end cap, I need to put a chest here, which will for this purposes be a piece of cobblestone. All right, and then 2 hoppers go on this side. Oh, we need an iron bar now that goes in the middle. Yeah, it goes right there, okay? Then there's an iron bar that goes there and there.
All right, now let's see how efficient the farm is.
We have to get, oh Lord. We have to get 300 skulls. Dear Lord. Okay, so I've had this farm active for about 5 minutes, and I have officially decided that I want to throw it in the garbage.
It would take us like hundreds of hours to get the skulls we need from this farm, and it's just not worth it. I did find one that seems to be slightly more efficient, but we need to go gather the resources in order to actually build it now.
All right, the first thing we need is 2,900 slabs. Okay, I think I now have all the blocks that I need, and there they go. So the next thing we need are some immovable blocks. Next, we need 456 furnaces, and that's enough furnaces. All right, let's make a bunch of slime blocks. 3 redstone. Rip off. All right, I believe I needed like 20 of each piston, so we need 38 redstone. Then we need 36 torches and 40 hoppers, so we need more. All right, we need 36 redstone torches. All right, we need 24 sticky pistons, so we need 30 hoppers, eh? All right, 30 hoppers. So redstone lamp, and I think that should be everything we need. Okay, I think we have all the resources we need. Time to head back to the nether and choose a location for this farm. All right, before we start building the new farm, we're gonna have to slab the entire old farm, because of course we are. Quick, to the slabs! Trying to avoid placing slabs in the intersection areas. So we have an intersection here. I think this is an intersection. Then we have an intersection here, pretty much the same as his farm. So let's not slab anything over there. Okay, so I think I've slabbed as much of this set as I want to for now. Now we have to figure out where the new farm goes. So let's take down anything like here over. Okay, so I've marked out the 4 corners, here, there, and over there. We need to clear out 1 block deeper than we currently are. So this layer needs to go, and then anything above it needs to go as well. All right, and now we gotta fill all this area in 1 level lower than the previous one was. Okay, we need to clear out these now. Okay, so mapping out this area, the sides go all the way over to here. All right, so we put stone walls on this side and furnaces on this side. That's because we're gonna use some flying machines to push all the mobs in this farm, and we need the flying machines to stop at a certain point. Since furnaces are an immovable block, that should solve it for us. Okay, so layer 2 has all these furnaces on this layer. Okay, now it's time to work on the first level of the farm. So rather than breaking all these slabs here, the next level is actually like right here on the top of the slab. So I'm just gonna fill in the top like this. All right, the top level's done. Now we need to build a platform for the very bottom level and then do all the redstone for everything. Okay, we finished the platform on the very bottom layer. Now we're gonna throw 2 more slime. This is where the mobs are gonna get pushed down as they get forced through the layers. All right, now we copy the same design that we did on the top with the furnaces on the side and the back and front. Okay, before I finish doing the redstone up there, I wanna do the redstone at the collection system down here. So all we're gonna do for that is run a line of redstone. Okay, so this hopper goes there. So this is gonna be the timer for our machine that's gonna send the sweepers up there. Okay, now this is the platform that all the wither skeletons are gonna get pushed down to. Okay, now we need a way to carry this signal all the way to the top. This way when we hit a lever, we can start the machine. All right, redstone goes here. Okay, and then a piston goes off of each torch. These pistons are what is going to kill the blazes and the zombie pigmen, so we only have wither skeletons to deal with. So it's gonna suffocate them using blocks right here. And then occasionally it'll open up, allowing for the wither skeletons to drop to the bottom. Okay, we're gonna stop there because we're gonna build the first sweeper before we fully finish. All right, now we gotta fill in all these blocks with a solid block so the wither skeletons can't get out. Okay, time to make the sweepers. All right, this sweeper is done. We just gotta do the middle one now. All right, so this one's good. Okay, so slime goes here. So then this one, the drop has to be over here, which I think it is. Nice, okay. And then on this side, there should be the slime blocks and the drop from the one above. Yeah, so there's the drop. So then I just need to put slime blocks here. Now's the time. Was all the pain? Was all the suffering worth it? All right, here we go, boys. First try. Come on, come on. We have to wait for the items to cycle through. Basically, if we start seeing wither skeletons here in about 60 seconds, it worked. I wouldn't say promising is the word I'd use at the moment. I mean, at least this thing works. The hopper clock thing works. I think it's the sweepers. I mean, it would have to, well, oh, hold up. This is a much bigger farm than his was. If the sweepers are working, they're gonna take a longer time to get from one side to the other. I think it's broken. Let's go double check. I don't think any of the sweepers, yeah, they're all still there. I mean, this one's freaking out. This one just didn't do anything. Oh, this one's just missing the piston, actually. Wait, 1, 2, where'd the third one go? Okay, this one is missing a piston. I just didn't build it. This one never launched, and the third one is gone. Just flat out disappeared. That means it probably launched, though. It did, but it didn't come back. What got you stuck? Oh, it's lit. This got it stuck. Ah, there was a couple blocks there. Can I start it? Oh no, it's gonna take me with it. Okay, the only one that works is the bottom one. Although I can fix the top one, but the middle one has a different issue going on. This one's missing a piston right here. The middle one though, I'm not sure what's wrong with the middle one. Wait, why are these here? All right, boys. These blazes we're probably here from before. We're gonna wait for mobs, and then if mobs show up, we're gonna go up and check and make sure all sweepers are running. If all sweepers are running, then we've done it. Oh, I heard some things. Okay, well, it's working to some degree. Let's see if all 3 sweepers are running. Okay, that one's coming back. All 3 sweepers are gone. That's a good sign. Uh-oh. Wait, I can't tell. Is that one gone? That middle one is stuck. Yeah, there's totally a block there. Oh no. Where did it get stuck? I'm pretty sure it was this block. Oh, one block just and then probably this one too. Okay, the farm works now, which means for the next 60 hours, we're gonna have to sit here and AFK. Except we won't have to be here for the whole 60 hours. Basically, we'll come back once an hour because that's about when the mob cap is filled and grind all the skeletons. However, I am gonna need to still slap some more of this area, so we'll do that first. But then we just sit here and we grind for hours and hours. Well, that was an exhilarating 73 hours of my life, but now we have the 300 wither skulls that we need. All right, now it's time to go back to collecting all the other resources that we need to make the final machine. We have an issue. We need a cataclysmic amount of resources for this. Most notably, about 20,000 redstone. Now, that's like 6 double chests, and I could trade for it, which was my original idea. But then I thought to myself, Nathan, grow a brainstem. And I was like, oh, let's just make a witch farm and get redstone from a witch farm. AFK-able! So, that being said though, we also have our beacons in the nether. And I don't want to go back to the nether to, like, I don't want to move the beacons back and forth when I AFK, when I'm in the overworld, yada yada. So, I think we should fight some more withers today to also get a couple more beacons for this world. And then eventually we have enough iron to make the 6 beacon thing like we have in the nether. And we'll eventually put 6 beacons in both, and that'll be really cool, pog, and amazing, and I'm hungry. Lucky for us, we do have a witch farm. I believe it's right over there. It's like 30 blocks that way. So that's the witch farm we'll be going to, which means we'll need blocks and actually need to find it. But I do have the coordinates for it, so it shouldn't be too difficult. So this is the witch farm that's gonna be in our world, but obviously it'll just be a void. But there still will be a way to find it. And when I say that, I just mean we're gonna copy down the coordinates of where it is. However, we need to be very precise with this. So if we enable boundaries, we can see exactly where the bounding box of the witch hut is. So if we map it out like this little square right here, this is all we care about. What we're gonna do is build some platforms in our world inside of this square, then use sweepers, similar to how we did in the nether, to push the witches into a machine that's going to kill them. And by machine, I mean fall damage, because I'm just gonna fall them and kill them because I don't ever want to hit witches with my sword ever again. What I know I need is a bunch of redstone for this farm, so let's go deal with that first. Okay, now I have to trade with the farmer to get a bunch of emeralds. Okay, I have all the supplies we need to build the witch farm. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is bridge out negative 250 blocks that way, then 150 blocks this way. So let's try not to die. So the first thing I want to do is I want to bridge down a little bit, which is always scary. All right. Okay, that's good. Now let's just get this water back up. Little scoopy scoop. Now we need to build a little platform out here. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is make the kill chamber, which is gonna be right here. It's just gonna be a drop chute for the witches to drop onto. So first we'll make a little perimeter. And then we'll use the hoppers. Let's point them, I'll point them this way. So everything has to shoot into these hoppers. Okay, so this is done. Now we need to go up there. So the bounding box is about like 30 blocks above us. But first we have to enclose this entire chamber with probably just stone. All right, the main structure is now built. Now we have to work on the spawning platforms. The witch bounding box allows for 3 platforms inside of it. It is really small, but this farm is pretty compact and still decently efficient. So we need to create rows with the soul sand. Then a block goes in between them. So we'll throw stone with this block. We're gonna need to create 3 of these platforms. Then we'll create a system to shove all the witches down when they spawn. Okay, now we're gonna place all these observers here. All right, so then repeaters go back here, and we need to run a line of redstone behind that. Okay, and then we need to do the same thing to the other side. Okay, rails go in between. Then on the back side, we got the repeaters. Okay, we run a line of redstone. All right, now we place trapdoors all along here. And then on here, we just place them on the floor, all the way up. And we do that for every layer. Okay, Okay, and then the last bit of redstone is a bunch of sticky pistons here, and then a bunch of redstone blocks like so. Okay, piston goes there. So that finishes this side. Now we need to duplicate this design over there. Okay, so hooks go on this side. Are those witch hats? Right there. Is this farm like already working? All right, the farm is done. Now you can actually see the machine's on. The lever that we installed actually stops the machine, so by default, it goes on. All right, now that's all that's left to do is AFK down here for a little while and see how efficient it is. However, before I do that, there is one thing I forgot to do. So I'm not sure if torches in here are going to affect the rates of the farm. I don't think they will. But as a precautionary measure, we're gonna do what the farm told us to do at the beginning. If I take this soul sand and I cover the bottom with it like this, then I cover the floor with buttons to prevent spawning. This should enable items to pass through the soul sand into the hopper, but prevent mobs from spawning on top of the soul sand. So now we just get back out, get out of there. And all we should need to do now, in theory at least, is AFK here for a while, and we should get tons of redstone. The one thing I am going to modify though, gonna put a chest right here like this, just to make sure we don't get too much stuff. Now in theory, everything should be working, and we should just have to wait a while. All right, so we've AFK'd here for about 20 hours or so, and I think we have all the redstone we need. Now that we're really close to having all the resources for the final machine, the next thing I want to focus on is building a mob switch. It's not only going to be really useful for when we fight the withers, but it's also a critical component for the actual machine itself to work. However, we're going to need to collect a few resources for that. I mean, we have them all, but we're going to need to get them all in one place. Okay, now that we have all the resources in order to make the actual mob switch, we need to find a place to make it in. The easiest thing for us is going to be to load blazes inside of a nether fortress using a spawner. However, we need to make sure that we're never going to pass by this spawner with the chunks loaded, otherwise we'll break it. All right, we've arrived. Now, I'm only here to put my stuff away, but we're gonna have to choose one of these two spawners. For now, let's just put all of our things away and go back to the base and get everything else. Okay, we're back and we're with our supplies. Okay, I think I'm gonna choose that blaze spawner as the one that we're gonna use for this farm, so this one needs to go. Now this one we need to disable. I'm not actually sure how to disable a blaze spawner. I think this does it. Like, I can't really remember, but I feel like I've seen this design before. No, it doesn't work. Or maybe it does. It's hard to tell, but either way, the first thing we gotta do around this spawner is carve out a lot of the platform where the blazes are gonna spawn on. Okay, this is clearly not working. I'm gonna just try to build like a box around it. This is very annoying. No, move. Okay, they're just freaking all over the place. All right, this is demonstrating the idea very well that we can get a ton of blazes here to fill up the mob cap. My only problem is that they're freaking here right now, and I don't want them here right now. But this also demonstrates why we definitely need a mob switch, because all of the rest of our design for redstone machines are gonna be in the nether, and it is such a pain to work here with these guys shooting at you constantly. If I can get, no, ugh. I've never really thought of a blaze melee attack before, but holy biscuits, is it annoying. Hitting me in the face. Oh my gosh. So, this mob switch is gonna work in 2 steps. Now that we have the blaze spawner ready, we're gonna build the machine that will keep the blazes loaded on the nether roof. Then later, come back and load the blazes in. To get through to the nether roof, we're going to have to find a piece of bedrock that gets us right to 1 layer below, which I think is this. This is like this and pop up, we're good. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is build the bottom of the apparatus, which I'm gonna need a a beacon for. The beacon is what's gonna load the chunk and enable the blazes to remain loaded while I'm at other places, causing it to work as a mob switch. Now we're gonna need 2 immovable blocks, but they should still give us enough obsidian to get out after. All right, we need another slime block here, redstone here. Okay, we gotta get this piston facing downward. It's always such a pain. And then we gotta clear out this. All right, so this is the chunk loader itself. However, we're gonna need to make a relay all the way back to 0, 0 in order to start the chunk loader. Okay, so the entire redstone line is now brought to here, and now I can flick my lever to turn it on and off. But before it'll actually work, I need to go load in the blazes. So normally if I was in the world and mobs were spawning, they would cap out at 70 mobs in a loaded area, at least for hostile ones. However, spawners negate that rule, meaning hundreds and hundreds could spawn in there and we'll be way over the mob cap. We'll probably do this just for a bit of a safety net, but it isn't really needed to go much above 70. However, that means we have to wait here a while. Now we should be able to just look at these guys and you can see there's 25 entities down there. Now that's definitely including other things because there's no way there's 25 blazes in there. But once that entity cap gets to maybe 150 or so, that's when we should be good. Which might take a while, so I'm just gonna box myself up like this. So as long as we wait here, we should get a ton to pile up. Wow, this is filling up pretty fast. We're already at 45 entities. Yeah, so I think there's enough blazes down there now. The entity counter says 215. Oh my goodness. Now, this is because of what we talked about earlier. You see, mobs will only spawn if they're 24 blocks away from you or if they're from a spawner like this. However, they begin to despawn at 32 blocks and will completely 100% all of them despawn when you pass 128 blocks. This means we have to get out of the 32 block distance with this chunk unrendered. Let me show you what I mean. If I sneak away from this right now, and I go back to my chest, and I turn on the chunk grid, I can no longer see that, which means my game is not loading it. So even though I'm over 32 blocks away at this moment, those mobs in there can't despawn. Now, I'm gonna grab all the items that I care about out of this chest. As you can see, I'm looking directly at the spawner. It can't detect any entities because it's over 2 blocks away. Now, I can actually go back and verify that there are mobs in there without affecting anything because I'm still only rendering at max 32 blocks, which is their minimum despawn distance. If I come back up here, they're all still here. All 200 and holy crap. Okay, but now I gotta stop playing around. We have to leave this area with our render distance down to 2. Now, problem is I can't see a freaking thing, but that's okay. Because at this point, I can raise my render distance to 3 because I'm farther away. Now we still can't see a freaking thing, which is an issue for getting away from this. But once we get a few more chunks away from the blazes, we can increase our render distance without fearing that we're gonna load those blazes. Should we load them and be over 128 blocks away, they'll all despawn. But since that chunk is not loaded right now, they don't know to despawn. And since I wasn't over 32 blocks away, they couldn't despawn while I was moving away. If I did my math correctly, 8 chunks is where if I had them loaded and I was 8 chunks away, that's when they would despawn, since a chunk is 16 by 16. Mobs are still gonna spawn on the way back to 0, 0, and that's because those blazes aren't loaded right now. So they aren't counting towards Minecraft's mob cap. What we need to do is turn the machine on that we made with the beacon loader, and that's going to load that chunk. But the way it loads it doesn't allow them to despawn, meaning there's gonna be 200 blazes sitting in that chunk, overriding how much Minecraft can spawn. Therefore, no mobs will be able to spawn in the nether past those blazes. The only thing I need to be careful of in the future is making sure not to run back to that nether fortress, because if I did and I loaded those blazes, they'd all despawn in like 2 seconds. But since nothing on the map that I need to do is on this side, we should be good. Okay, now is the moment of truth. I didn't bring my ladders. Just kidding. I have some ladders, so let's pop back into the nether, and at this point, we're gonna need to turn the chunk loader on, which means we're gonna need to go up at spawn, all the way through to the nether roof. Back. Now we just need to find a place at the nether roof. I think this is good. Nice, okay. So, here we go. Now we find out if this machine worked. Okay, I should just need to flick this lever, and within a few moments, oh boy. I think I have to wait. I don't have to run along the redstone lines to activate them. They somehow activate on their own. Not exactly sure how that works, but I'm gonna wait around for a minute. Actually, technically I don't need to be here, because if the redstone doesn't need to be chunk loaded, then it wouldn't matter. I'm just gonna chill here for a second, even though I'm pretty sure it doesn't do anything. I'm so nervous if this is gonna work. Okay. I feel like this is enough time for it to reach. Come on, come on. There's a piglin over there, but he might have already been loaded. The trick is going to be if we see new mobs. So let's go this way. Hold up, we might have done it. I feel like that piglin was already there. Man, I don't see anything. I think we did it. I think we freaking did it. Please? Oh. Let's go. First try. My machines never work on first tries. It's not my machine. I copied it off of here, but Machines I build never work first try. Okay, we have a mob switch, which means we need to start progressing towards the last part of this challenge, which is getting to the end. Okay, but the first thing I want to do is collect all the nether stars, so it's time to fight some withers. I don't really know how I'm gonna fight the withers, but I do know now that for sure, I only need 100. Yes, it went from 2 to 300, now we're back at 100. But Angern promised me that we only need 100, so now we just have to figure out how to kill 100 withers. Should be easy enough.
One eternity later.
So like, let's say hypothetically I could find a space like this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And we get the nether star, it doesn't go to the roof. Right? I think it should be pretty easy. Let's see how easy it is now. We need a spot where we can build this thing horizontally and place the heads. Okay, not there. Oh, maybe here? We go 1, 2, boom, boom. All right, let's see if this works, boys. Okay, it does not. Oh, is there a netherrack touching it? Sometimes when netherrack touches this, it doesn't like it. At the back. Bedrock also breaks it? Well, that's going to be fun. How are we? Oh, maybe it can't touch the sides. It could be the sides. That means we need to find a 4 wide gap somewhere. Ah, this sucks. Everything has the block in the way. I think we might need a design. I don't think you can just do this. I feel like the obsidian needs to be placed somewhere. All right, let me try. Yeah, he's just gonna come down. Yeah, okay, I have a thought. So like, what if you did this and this? Nah. Like, I wonder if a block here will push him up. Oh, he's definitely higher. Well, he can kind of shoot still. Nope, nope. No. What is this? Nobody, nope, nope, nope. Man, I did not think it'd be this hard. See, there's a freaking block there! Ah, go away! Just everywhere you look, there's a block in the way. Wait, have I fooled myself? Wait, just in case it's not, we need to backup plan. I think this might be it. Hold up. Oh yeah, all right, we found it, boys. I'm contemplating hitting him if I'm being honest. I think it might be worth trying once. We're definitely moving him. Oh, I think we might be able to do this. Oh yeah. Yeah, let's go, boys. Yeah, screw that. We can fully assault this man. I know, I'm kind of debating on going back and getting strength. Or even a beacon, honestly. Go get a beacon with strength too. We gotta get 90 more of these. There's a beacon currently sitting in the nether that's not of any use. It was for the wither farm. All right, let's go and get it. So we need to find an area close by that we can carve out. Okay, so we got strength for you and regen. Let's do regen and resistance, why not? Let's be crazy, boys. All right, and then let's hope that it reaches. Well, it's definitely faster. Ha! Get wrecked by a shovel. 100 nether stars. All right, 100 beacons. 64, 36. Look at me go. I don't know why I'm throwing them all, I'm gonna lose them all. Look how many beacons I have, I can walk forever and just throw them. I am so wealthy. Okay, I can look out now. So I reviewed some of the footage and I haven't completely gotten everything ready yet theoretically, but I have practically got all the supplies we need to collect to make the machine. So I think I'm gonna spend the next while collecting every single bit of materials we need before finishing the theorizing. For now, okay, let us make the first resource, which is 64 regular pistons. The first resource gathered, check mark. Now we need 800 sticky pistons. Sticky pistons, done. Okay, cobblestone, 100. Oof. Cobblestone slab, you say? Okay, 200 glass. All right. All right, so this is all the glass that we should need. All right, so we need 150 hoppers now. All right, hoppers. Okay, 192 chests. That's 4 stacks. Leather. All right, slime block, 500. Okay, all right. White stained glass, thank you, thank you. Ice, 200. We gotta get up to a higher Y value so that we can get snow. I don't believe in falling. What? Boo. Oh, look at all this beautiful ice. All right, ice is completed. All right, dropper, 64, nice. All right, so there's our observers. Now we need a redstone comparator. All right, 64 quartz stairs. Stone bricks is probably the easiest big boy item to get. Nice. Stone is ready. All right, so we have enough blocks. All right, let's work on getting the rest of the trees we need. Okay, chest. Now, I do have about 8 hours worth of calls with Angern about how this machine works and how I'm gonna build it. He spent the last 6 months just theorizing how to build this machine and adapt it to Skyblock. However, I really struggled to get these calls easy to understand and follow what we're talking about. So for those of you who want the in-depth explanation, that'll be in the extended edition. But for the rest of you, I'm just gonna work towards the machine one step at a time. If I tried to explain the entire thing at once right now, it would take like 10 minutes and you'd forget everything right after. So I think it makes more sense if I just hard focus on one thing at a time, with the end goal being to create the end portal in the Nether. Now that we've got all the supplies that we need to make the machine that's going to spawn in the end portal for us, we need to prep the machine area. Most notably, we need to get rid of all the fires in the Nether that will be anywhere within range of our machine. You see, the machine we're building is very sensitive, and while mostly everything in the game does stuff instantly, like redstone repeaters, buttons, liquids, fire can randomly try to do stuff around itself that is not instant. Minecraft doesn't like that difference, and stuff gets out of synchronization, which makes the game crash. So in order for the machine to work properly, we have to clear out fire in a like 2,000 by 2,000 block area, and if we miss one, the whole game could break, and then we'd basically lose all of our work up until that point. Just so you understand the insanity of removing all that fire, one of the resources you use to build the machine literally recommends you accidentally cheat and turn off fire's ability to break the machine by using commands. But obviously we're not gonna do that, so how do we actually pull this off? Now, I had 2 thoughts on how we could do this. The first thought was to create a tunnel bore and then a world eater, where we just plow our way through the Nether and just clear out all the blocks so that fire can't even exist. My problem with that is twofold. One, we don't have any sand. Well, we have 2 sand, but we don't have enough to make TNT. We could duplicate sand. I think there's a way through a Nether portal similar to how the end portal does it, but I'd rather not do that, at least as a first resort. I was looking at it the other day and I was theorizing that maybe it is manually possible. So I'm going to spend the next few hours clearing fire in the Nether to see if it's possible. So that is what we're doing. And then let's head into the Nether, boys. Before we head over to the new chunks though, we're gonna need to start fire clearing. I'm gonna turn the mob switch on. Let's just give this machine a second. Okay, my mob switch should be on now. Okay, so now we gotta start heading towards the location, which is directly this way. We have a pre-planned location of where to build the machine because it's very area sensitive. All right, we gotta get to negative 3,650. That could take a minute. I just started thinking about this and why am I not on the Nether roof? Why am I digging a hole? Who lets me play this game? Like actually, why would I dig a hole? Go to the Nether roof location, break the bedrock. Okay, so I should have all the supplies I need to break bedrock. We got the end crystals, we got the pistons, redstone, everything we need. Now we need to actually go and do it. Okay, we're gonna head to the Nether roof here and look for a spot where we can breaketh the bedrocks. Thank you. Negative 17, positive 9. So it should be this block. Okay, so, right, like this, okay? Then this goes here. Then behind it, we gotta go like this, And I believe the obsidian's right on top. End crystal. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, and then I just flick this lever, theoretically. So we've created headless pistons, which are going to be very useful in getting rid of bedrock. Basically, every modern day bedrock breaker too also uses headless pistons, just in a different way. Oh, it was so close. I needed this one. I think we may as well break the bedrock here. I don't know if it's gonna do anything, but we may as well try to break it. Yeah, we'll just delete everything here. Which ones do probably the ones that are next to my hole, which is this one. We'll probably just get rid of these other ones. Unless they don't interfere. Like, I can try and save it. Yeah, okay. So, the rest of these can go away. So we've created headless pistons, which are going to be very useful in getting rid of bedrock. I don't think you can piston to piston, can you? Pretty sure you can't. Oh, for some reason I thought you couldn't piston to piston. Okay, so we know that it broke the two far ones, so theoretically. So we want this here. Okay. Okay, then this goes back into here. Okay, so then we do this. And wow, that was terrible. It just blew up my piston completely. Come back. This is the one no, this is the one I needed to blow up. And I did this one. Crystal. And lights. Really? You stubborn guy. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now it's 9 blocks away. Aww. This is the one that we need both gone on. No one cares about you. So redstone set up, this is all set up. Let's try this again. Lights. Oh, it was so close. And take 5. I forgot the fire. Ah! Oh, so close. Oh. Oh no, this is it. This is the one that we need. I thought it was that one. Oh, nice. Okay. So this is what matters, and everything else gets taken down, I believe. Okay, we need to not screw this up. Oh, it scared me. So now, regular piston goes here. What did I do? Okay, I think we're good. Okay, it wants me to put a redstone block towards this side, above this. Then break this and place sticky. Nice. Ooh, we did it. All right, so that's step 1. Now we gotta go 6,000 blocks away and break another one. Now the machine is 6,000 blocks away. So this might take a minute. I don't think I'm prepared. Like, do we want to run 6,000 blocks, break the bedrock, then run back to get all the stuff, then run back again? Honestly, I'm thinking of doing a rail system, but when we actually go to bring the supplies, like I could do the rail system now. Okay. Yeah, I think it's smarter if we do the rail system now than if we do it later, because it'll be so useful later when we go to bring the supplies there, because we have like 5 to 10 double chests of supplies we need to bring, so I'll probably just dupe them. We need 41 stacks of iron to make enough rails to get there. Or, let's see actually, I wonder. I feel like it's printing money. Okay, well, if we're gonna do this, then we're gonna need to empty our inventory because we can't take anything with us yet. In an effort to catch all the items. We need 109 stacks. We need 2 double chests of rails. All right, we got all the rails we should need, at least for now. So let's pop back into the nether and start placing them. All right. Whoa. Okay, let's see if we can be fast enough to place torches here. Oh yeah, that's super easy. Hey, let's go. Just a nice smooth ride home. Okay, here's the big moment. This is why we have 2 types of rails on us, so we can do this. Okay, time to travel 3,000 blocks this way. All right, I brought the last amount of rails I think I'm gonna need, but I also have all the supplies to break the bedrock we're gonna need to break over there at the machine location. So I'm just gonna give this a little push. There we go. And I'm gonna travel with it. This way I don't have to travel back again, and I can finish the railway. Okay, I've reached it. We need to go about 1,000 more blocks. This is where we need to start being careful because we can't risk loading the chunks that are in the central machine. I have all the supplies with me. Now I gotta find a spot to break bedrock. The reason that we need to have access to the nether roof easily out here is because right below me is where we're gonna need to do all the fire clearing. And when we come back up to build the machine, I don't wanna have to pearl through the bedrock every time. So it's best if we just break a piece. But that means I need to find a piece. All right, so negative 3485, which is this way. So this is the block that we wanna break, right there. We didn't get either of them. These are the 2 that we want. And now we redo this again and again until eventually we get the headless pistons. And we got nothing. Nice. And activate. Oh, we got it! Let's go! Wow, that was really quick. Okay, let's confirm. I want to be 3485. That's 3485. So it is this one. Okay, so good. What I want to do then is we need to replace the block up here with a redstone block. Now everything else here can be destroyed. We do have to do some more bedrock breaking later, so it's not a bad thing that we ended up with more crystals. Okay, so just like last time, we gotta get a piston here, and then we gotta get this stupid piston into place. And then this here. So break headless piston, place redstone. Okay. Okay, and then all we have to do now is break this. Please work, please work, please work, please work. Okay, it did everything. It did the scrunching. Yes! Let's go, boys! We have access to the nether. Or I guess I should say below the nether. Which is really important because now we have to start worrying about the fire clearing. Okay, so this is where the real test of things kind of begins. Let's mark this area, right? To make sure we don't lose it. Now we gotta get back into normal chunks, then start heading towards the chunks we got a fire clear on. All right, so this is what the machine looks like that we're gonna be building, or at least part of it. And this is especially the point where we need to be doing the fire clearing. However, that's a second area. The first area we'll be doing the fire clearing is over here. This is actually the smaller area technically. So this redstone line, similar to our mob switch, is gonna act like a chunk loader. And we're gonna need to clear out all these chunks around it, like so. So basically it's 4 chunks per machine. So we won't need to clear out like an entire area here, just kind of a diagonal line. We need to make sure there's no fire in any of these chunks or immediately adjacent chunks. So using this world, I'm gonna like drag it to the other side here. And then using it, I can reference in my normal world where I'm supposed to clear fire from. So all this fire needs to go. All right, so we just finished the first hour of fire clearing, so it's time to see how many chunks we got. Okay, so after doing the math, it's 90 seconds per chunk. Now it's time to calculate how many chunks roughly we have to do to see if this is gonna be plausible. Okay, so in this section alone, this doesn't account for the other big section, we have 282 chunks left to do. If I multiply that by 90 seconds each, and then divide that by 60, and then divide that by 60. So it'll take roughly 8 hours. Oh, just to clear this out. And that's just part of this. Okay, I don't even know, man. I don't even know if we can do the calculations on the other part. It's so massive. Let's see, 1 second. Okay, so we're on a copy of the world right now, and this is the other section. Now, if I remember correctly, we only have to clear out the chunks that have hoppers in them. I don't even know. how would I count this? Okay, is there ever 2 hoppers in a chunk? No. Ooh. No, there's never 2 hoppers in a chunk. Okay, we can calculate this easy then. If we run over to this corner, and this will be a rough approximation, but it should give us somewhat pretty accurate. And we take this right here. Then we fly to the opposite corner, and then we'll just build up quick. How many hoppers? 485. That's not as bad as I thought it would be. Because if we do the same math, 485 times 90, and we divide that by 60, and we divide that by 60. Oh, it's only 12 more hours. Why did I'm spending 20 hours literally just hitting fire with my fist. What a stupidness. 20 hours. Okay, let's do this. I've come back to the base here to grab a few more pickaxes since mine were breaking real quick while getting rid of this fire. Okay, nice. This time he has efficiency 2, not silk touch, which will make combining them into other things a lot easier. All right, cool. So we have all the pickaxes that we should need to stay there for a long period of time now. The reason we want to do this is because it takes like 20 minutes to travel back here on the rail line, so we want to avoid coming back here as much as possible. I'm also going to brew some fire res potions though, because that was turning into an issue last time. All right, we're heading back now to start clearing fire for the next 20 hours. We're done. We have finished half of the fire clearing. Actually, it's more like 40% of the fire clearing because this is a smaller section. But now we're gonna go clear the other side. The only thing we have to be careful about is we don't load the chunks in between them, so we'll have to go around for that. But first, we're probably gonna head back to the base, repair our pickaxes, and then come back. This is fun every time. I love this. All right, here we go. Let's repair these pickaxes quick. All right, our pickaxes are repaired, which means we gotta head back and do the next section of fire clearing. Have removed all 10,000 chunks worth of fire. Congratulations to us. So we removed all the fire in this area. Let me just get to the end. Removed all the fire in this area. So we did 4 chunks along each one of these lines, which means now it's time to do the verification to make sure all the fire is gone, which will probably take 5 to 10 hours in and of itself. To do that though, first we need to head back to base. All right, time for our 20-minute track back home. This is so ridiculous. All right, we have done it. We have all the resources required to begin building the end machine. Before we transfer all the resources to the location though, we need to do one more thing. You see, currently I have a mob switch going on in the nether. One of the main benefits of that is that I can build in the nether without being constantly assaulted. But the other big reason why we have it is that the end machine can run. You see, amongst a lot of the functions that mobs have, one of them is the potential to load a chunk on their own. This end machine is very sensitive to chunk loading, and so to ensure that it doesn't break, we need to make sure mobs are eliminated. Now we already have the mob switch utilizing blazes, however, there is a slight chance that can either turn off or break should I leave the world. To ensure that it doesn't, I'm gonna build a dimensional loader both in the end and in the overworld. This machine should make sure that the mob switch never turns off even if I leave the world. The location for this is also very sensitive. I have to build it all the way over here. I've already prepared the platform for it though, so now it's just a matter of actually building it. Okay, so the overworld section of the dimensional loader is built. It's a fairly simple concept, just takes to the extreme to actually build it. This skeleton in here is going to shoot at this golem. The arrow is then going to get redirected into the nether portal, loading the other side. To start the machine, I just need to hit this lever, but before I do that, I need to build the nether side. Alright, so we've brought all the resources to the location where we're gonna build the final machine. We're gonna build it in 4 main sections. Section 1 is called the Permaloader. Section 2 is called the cluster chunk area. Section 3 is the timer and the beacon thread. And section 4 is the async line and the multi-block room. Let's start with the Permaloader. Now, I could just regurgitate information by saying something like, the get function checks the index of the unload chunk, sees the glass is not in the index, and continues iterating through the cluster. The remove function changes the index
index of the glass chunk so that the glass chunk now has the index of the unload chunk they used to have. But at the end of the day, no one's gonna understand what the heck I'm saying, and I don't even understand half the words I'm saying. So, I've come up with a plan on how I want to explain this, and I call it delegation. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have Anger explain things to my roommate, Matthew. Yes, the same guy that was talking about pizza in the refrigerator when I got distracted and I fell off the first Skyblock island.
Happy day. Happy birthday, oh happy day, it's the day yesterday, congratulations.
Besides being the reason that I died, Matthew's actually really smart, and he's really good at breaking things down into plain English. So he's gonna translate it into plain English so that you can better understand the absolute monstrosity we're building to achieve the impossible. Now, we're gonna do this section by section. So first we'll build the section, and then we'll explain how it works. So first, we gotta build the Permaloader. Now, the Permaloader is essentially the exact same design, just repeated for a very long time, so there's not really much to say here on the build itself, so let's just explain how it works.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my TED Talk on Minecraft quantum mechanics. It's not actually quantum mechanics, but I don't know what the heck we're talking about. I learned all this 2 hours ago from a man on Discord. So, step one in building this machine is building the Permaloader. What the Permaloader does is it loads up all the cluster chunks. What do cluster chunks do? Don't ask stupid questions. We'll get to that later. All you need to know is that there are chunks in here that we want to keep loaded. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, Minecraft has loaded chunks and unloaded chunks. Basically, loaded chunks are chunks that are currently being processed. Stuff is happening in the chunks. But Minecraft doesn't want to be processing every single chunk in the world, because if it did so, your computer would explode and light on fire. So instead, it tries to move chunks into unloaded chunks. Basically, it tries to shut everything down. It says, hey, this chunk, not important, stuff isn't happening in there that we care about, put it into storage, right? Storage is saving it to the disk. Don't worry about that, we're just putting it to storage. Now, the loaded chunks. Every chunk in the world that is currently loaded goes into a giant list. There's just a big list of all the different chunks that are there. And Minecraft, let's call him Greg. There's a man named Greg. Greg runs the whole Minecraft operation. He wants these loaded chunks to be unloaded, but only a certain time. So every 45 seconds, Greg does an autosave. During an autosave, and during other times, but usually during this autosave, Greg tries to go do a sweep of the loaded chunks, have them be stored away in the unloaded chunks. Now to do that, he calls up Tony. He calls up Tony and says, hey Tony, it's time, autosave time, go to the loaded chunks, shut them down. Anything that doesn't need to be running, go shut it down. Tony says, okay, I'm gonna go do that. But the thing is, Tony's kind of lazy. Well, I don't actually know why Tony doesn't do it all at once, but he doesn't do everything at once. He does it like split into batches. You could say it's probably because of like union rules or something. He's not allowed to do more than like a certain amount of things at once, but he splits them into batches. So there's batch 1, batch 2, batch 3, batch 4, and so on. Every batch has 100 chunks inside of it. So Tony comes along, he does batch 1. There's 100 chunks, does what he needs to do with them, and then he takes a break. He waits a tick. Next tick, he goes to do batch 2, 100 chunks, takes a break, waits a tick. Batch 3, 100 chunks, waits a tick, etc. Now obviously, Tony doesn't just unload every single chunk of the game. Some chunks need to stay loaded. There's a bunch of reasons why a chunk might stay loaded. One of those reasons, at least in 1.12, one of those reasons, is if a hopper exists in the chunk. This is my hopper, very good drawing, you can congratulate me later. If a hopper exists in the chunk and is constantly ticking. What I mean by ticking is that hoppers are always checking if there is items in the space above them. If some item falls into the space, the hopper picks it up, puts it inside its inventory. When Tony comes along to try and unload a chunk, if he shows up at the chunk and there's a hopper in that chunk and that hopper's working, he'll say, yo, Tony, go away, I'm working here, leave me alone. And usually, Tony says, oh, I'm sorry, didn't mean to bother you, I'll move on. And he doesn't unload the chunk. He leaves the chunk as is. Now, you may notice a flaw in this plan, and that's the fact that these chunks that have hoppers in them would never become unloaded. And usually that's true, except for the fact that batch 1 is a little different. Batch 1 is special, we put a star next to it. During batch 1, Tony removes the chunks, even if there's hoppers in them. He doesn't care about hoppers during batch 1. Rest of the batches, it's fine, but not batch 1. So let's say, for example, all of these chunks had hoppers in them. What would happen is on an autosave, batch 1, everything gets removed, because it's all hopper stuff. Batch 2, batch 3, batch 4, they stay, they're fine. But then, 45 seconds later, on the next autosave, Tony comes back to do his unloading. But all these chunks that were down here on the list, they now have moved up in the priority, right? This chunk has now gone up to here, to batch 1. So everything in batch 2 moved up to batch 1, everything in batch 3 moved up to batch 2, so on and so forth, which means batch 1 gets erased again, and again, and again, and again, eventually unloading everything. So if we want to keep certain chunks down here permanently loaded, what we need to do is make sure that batch 1 keeps filling up with other chunks. Now I'm gonna explain to you I'm going to list out a few chunks, a few types of chunks to be specific, that exist in this world. We will eventually get to what they all mean, but for now, this is what the list looks like. We are going to have diagonal chunks at the top. Then we'll have a few random chunks that'll just exist because of reasons. Then we are going to have the unload chunk. Then we're going to have the cluster chunks. And then we're going to have the glass chunk. All of these chunks down here, unload chunk, cluster chunks, glass chunk, these are what we want to keep permanently loaded. And we're going to use diagonal chunks to do that. So the reason why this works is because this list is not random. It's actually sorted in order of priority. That priority comes from a hash number. Every chunk in the game has a hash number. How these hash numbers are calculated is very complicated and doesn't really matter, but our good brain, big intelligent man, Angren, knows how they're calculated. Diagonal chunks are a set of chunks where the x coordinate equals the z coordinate, which basically means chunks 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, etc. And in a Minecraft world, that would be all of the chunks along the diagonal. That's why we call them diagonal chunks. Okay, these diagonal chunks always have the hash number of 0, meaning they have the lowest priority number, putting them at the top of the list. So what we need to do is every time an autosave happens, these diagonal chunks are going to be erased, and we need to then reload them up again before the next autosave to make sure that they stay at the top of the list, everything else stays below it. And the way we do that is once again with the hoppers. Next to the diagonal chunks, we're gonna have another set of chunks that have hoppers in them. These chunks will end up down here somewhere in these other lists. So they'll never get unloaded because they have a hopper in them. But we're also gonna have those hoppers point at the diagonal chunks. So basically if the chunks are here, this is the diagonal, and this is the one with the hopper in it, that hopper is gonna be right here, and it's gonna face the diagonal chunk. Meaning that if the bottom of the hopper was trying to put items into a chest or something, that chest would be in the diagonal chunk, right? It's right on the border, pointing into that chunk. Because of that, what happens is Tony comes by and he erases his diagonal chunks. All these get erased. Then he comes through and he finds these hopper chunks somewhere else in the list. And he sees, oh, there's a hopper in this hopper chunk. I'm not gonna unload it, I'm gonna let it be. But then Alfred, some other guy that works at the company, he comes by and he says, oh, there's a hopper in this chunk that's trying to put items into this chunk. It doesn't have any items inside of it, but it might want to put items into that chunk. But this chunk isn't loaded because Tony deleted it. So we better reload it again to make sure that it can put items into that chunk. So these diagonal chunks are just gonna keep getting reloaded over and over and over again. And because they keep getting reloaded, they keep filling up batch 1 at the top of the loaded chunks list, and therefore everything below it manages to stay safe so long as they have an active hopper inside of it. So what the permaline is, it's basically just a long line of redstone with a bunch of hoppers. The only point of the redstone is so that you can toggle it on and off. When you power hopper, hopper turns off, and it no longer is doing this permaloading thing. And then when you toggle it back on, all the hoppers reactivate and it can do the permaloading. Also, you're gonna put some random chests in the diagonal chunks, basically just to do an extra tick and help with reliability. They're not very important. Okay, now go, do.
Okay.
All right, so now that we understand the permaloader, we need to start building the cluster chunks. Now, both the permaloader and the cluster chunks are an incredibly boring build to watch. This is just a sped up replay shot of me building the entire cluster area. It's essentially just a hopper and a chest put in tons and tons of chunks, which might not make a lot of sense right now, so let's explain it.
Okay, so you've built the permaloader. Good job, congratulations. You are 1% of the way done.
Yeah.
Next, out of the permaloader is the cluster chunks. So, what are the cluster chunks? Technically, it is just a bunch of chunks that have a hopper in it so that they stay loaded. Really simple. But the real question is why. So we also have these chunks down here. We have a glass chunk. This is very important. And we have an unload chunk as well. The reason we have selected this random unload chunk is because it's connected to the glass chunk in a specific way. So remember we talked about these hash numbers, right? Which orders the priority list of everything in the loaded chunks. Well, the glass chunk that we are using has the hash number of 1334. That is the hash number it uses. So when the glass chunk gets loaded, it wants to go into slot 1334 in this priority list. Question?
What is the glass chunk?
Don't worry about it. I told you not to ask stupid questions. That's a stupid question.
Okay.
No, we'll talk about it later. So the glass chunk is priority number 1334. The unload chunk that we have selected because it also has a hash number of 1334. Meaning, if we load the unload chunk first before we load the glass chunk, the unload chunk will take up slot 1334. And then when you load the glass chunk, it'll go and say, oh, slot 1334 is taken. I'll just go to the next slot, 1335. However, we don't want it to be in the next slot. We want it to be way further down the list for reasons we'll get to later. But to get it further down the list, we need to fill in all of these cluster chunks. So what the cluster chunks are is basically a random selection of chunks within this giant box. So it's a whole bunch of random chunks all over the place. And those chunks have been selected because they fill out all of the numbers of 1, 3, 3, 5, all the way down to, I don't know, roughly 3,000. I don't know exactly how many we're using, but each chunk, there's one chunk at 1, 3, 3, 5, one chunk is 1, 3, 3, 6, one chunk is 1, 3, 3, 7, etc. Every single slot, all the way to roughly 3,000, has been filled up with these cluster chunks. Meaning, if we do all this, if we load the unload chunk and we load the cluster chunks before we load the glass chunk will come in, it wants to go to 1, 3, 3, 4, spot's taken, goes to the next one, spot's taken, goes to the next one, spot's taken, etc., etc., etc. And it ends up all the way down here at slot 3001 or something close to that. So what these have accomplished is creating a massive gap between these two chunks. Also, just making the whole loaded list very, very long. Loaded lists are never this long, but it's this long this time. So yeah, that's the point of the cluster chunks. Yes, sir.
Why are they loaded before the glass chunk?
Because if the glass chunk got loaded first, it would go into slot 1, 3, 3, 5.
Yeah, but why are the cluster chunks being prioritized with the hoppers in them? Why aren't we going glass chunk 1, 3, 3, 5 and then hopper and then cluster
because,
chunk 1, 3, 6?
This list is, think of it like an Excel spreadsheet. This is row 1, 3, 3, 4, cell 1, 3, 3, 4. These fill all of cells 1, 3, 3, 5 through 3,000. You can't add in a new row in between here. These spots are already taken up. So instead of moving everything down one to fit this in, this just goes until it finds an empty slot, and it just goes in the next available empty slot. That's how the game is coded.
Okay, when the game finishes with chunk 1, 3, 3, 3. Sorry, 1, 3, 3, 4.
Yep.
Right, and it moves to the next chunk. What should I load next? Why is it not loading glass chunk next?
We are loading up all of these cluster chunks before the glass chunk. Like, you physically will not go to this location until you've got to these locations.
Period.
Yes, because that will fill every single slot. Then you go to the glass chunk.
I see, yeah.
And that will then put it into the list where it'll go all the way to the end of the list.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The preliminary sides of the machine are done, which means we need to start working on the core machine itself. However, this begins the most risky part of the entire challenge. You see, we're gonna have to save state 2 of the chunks, and we can't use the same machine we did in the overworld. Save stating these chunks is gonna be crucial to actually getting the machine to work. But to do it, we're gonna need to run into those chunks manually, place 2 double chests of books down before 45 seconds is up and an autosave occurs. If an autosave occurs before we're able to save state the chunks, we need to restart the challenge because it's over. Like literally. Well, not necessarily over, but we'll need to clear fire in those 2 giant areas somewhere else in the world, and it might be like 20,000 blocks away, and that'll take another, 4 weeks, and we need to not mess up is what I'm saying. And we don't really know if I will or not, but what I do know is that I first need to take all of these books and make them into book 1 and 2, as we'll need that to save state the new chunks. All right, so we have the books ready, ender pearls, and chest, and now we're ready to go and actually save state the chunk. So what I'm gonna do is hang a pearl into unloaded chunks. I'm gonna save and quit. We're gonna bring our chunk distance up to 8, and then we get ready to cry. The biggest thing with this is I can't mess up. Here we go. Now that we've gotten that, holy crap, I can't believe we actually just did that. We have to move on. So first thing we have to do is crank render, boys. Yes, finally, we can see beyond 2 chunks in the nether. This means now we can actually get to building the machine. However, first, guess what we have to do? More fire clearing. So the machine area is only about 400 by 400 blocks, but we have to clear all the fire under it, as before we couldn't get to it because it was too close to these save state chunks. So what we're gonna have to do is break some bedrock over here first, since the bedrock we broke over yonder is way too far away. Okay, as long as we keep those chunks loaded at all times. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention. So those chunks, obviously, for obvious reasons, have to remain loaded, because if they don't remain loaded, the game will force an autosave and it'll delete the chests. As long as they remain loaded, it can't autosave. But if I unload it, then reload it, the game will delete them. This means I can't turn off my computer. If there's a power outage, just if Minecraft just randomly crashes, any of that, it's a complete, we're done, we're screwed. So we need to grab bedrock breaking supplies. I need redstone, I need repeaters, I need pistons, we need some obsidian, and end crystal. All right, so we're gonna do this the same way we did last time by placing 4 pistons like this. All right, then we place some obsidian on the top and we make a little row back here for the redstone. So end crystal goes here. We light flint and steel here. We put our lever here and we flick. So we got our first 2 headless. Now, I'm not sure if there's gonna be a single bedrock under here or 2, but since we got 2 headless, we may as well make the machine, as that's what's required. So we're gonna break this, throw a redstone block here to make sure the pistons stay engaged, and then we can destroy all this. And we need to get a piston down there facing down, just like that. Slime here. We need to break in place. We break this redstone block, and then if the machine works, it should work by breaking this. Well, that didn't work. Guess we tried again. Now, of course, the issue with this is we only have so many end crystals, so we need to not screw that up again. Flint and steel. Come on, come on. Okay, new idea. Okay, those pistons are in the wrong place, I'm just realizing. So I'm gonna try something else. And see if we can get that piston to break. Come on, come on. Ah, it still deletes the top piston. It's close. We have 6 tries left, dude. I knew I should have got more end crystals. Please. I didn't delete either of them, dude. Dude, I've gotten a bottom headless before. Now I've gotten a top headless. I'm screwed. I'm cataclysmically screwed. I wasn't recording! I just lost another crystal. But I think this makes sense. So, please. Yes! 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 Let's go, boys! Let's go! Okay, 1 crystal left. Tee. All right, hold up. We need to secure these pistons before the redstone turns off for some weird reason. Okay, piston secured. Sick. Break all this crap, and then we break down all this. Just be very careful, Nathan, not to hit those pistons. Okay, now we need to build the actual machine. So directly in front, we have this. Okay, we just need to push this down. Perfect. Okay, and then slime block. All right, well, I've looked over it a few times. Just to break the redstone block now. If we fail this, we have 1 crystal left. Please, for the love of anything, dude. For the love of anything. Oh, everything retracted this time. Let's go! Oh, my heart is racing. I hate this challenge so much, dude. Do you have any idea how much of this kind of stuff is left? So much! Ah! All right. Oh, dear Lord. Okay. Let's break all this down. Okay, now this should, let us into the nether. Okay, now we're on fire clearing duty, and there's a lot to clear. I think the first thing I'm gonna do is actually just map out the area and figure out where the corners are of the area I need to fire clear. All right, so the first place I have to mark out should be somewhere this direction. I need to get to 2736 by 3615. 27. Okay, so it's this corner. So about right here is corner number 1. Let me just put netherrack on top, maybe, to give it a little bit more. Not sure if I'm gonna be able to see it from all the edges, but okay. Well, that block is gonna be there infinitely now. Then I need to go... We need to go this way all the way till I get X to 3071. Okay, so that should be right here. I can see the other one down there, okay? Now we gotta get to 3184 on the Z-axis. Okay, so that's here. And then lastly, we need to get to 2736 on the x-axis, which is right here. Okay, so we can kind of see the square from there to there, and then from there to there. Everything inside of here needs to be fire cleared. Phew, the chests are still here. I was coming to double check because I stepped out one chunk too far that way and I was a little worried. But we should be okay. The reason I know we should be okay is because I can see the edge of where I stopped the machine there, and I can see the edge of where I stopped the machine there, which means we should be able to reach those points to connect the machine and still leave these chests loaded. Now we need to spend like a week fire clearing, so I'm gonna go grab the emergency fire res and our supplies, get a bunch of food, and then we just go, boys. All right, this is why we brought all this food. I don't want to use this pickaxe since this is my good pickaxe, so I'll use one of these junk ones. And there we go. Okay, now I need to reach one of the corners. So, which one am I going right now? And then we need to get to 3184. All right, so right here. So what I'm gonna do now is dig down. Pretty sure I'm fine with that drop. Yeah, good, okay. Okay, time to clear hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of pieces of fire, boys. All right, we have finished all the fire clearing. Finally. It has taken years. No, it only took like 4 days to do that portion, but that means, ladies and gents, we have finished fire clearing. Never removing another fire in my life, unless I screw up this machine, in which case I have to move thousands and thousands more, but we're gonna pretend we're not gonna do that. All right, now that we have all the fire cleared, we can actually begin, I know, I've said this a million times and haven't actually done it, building the machine, which is super cool. So what I'm gonna do first is take the redstone line that's over there and the redstone line that's over there somewhere, and they need to be brought into the middle, about right there on either side, where the machine is gonna be built dead center. It's crucial that the machine connects to these two lines, so the first thing we gotta do is bring the lines closer to the machine. I believe we have enough room to get here. All right, so same as before, it goes block there, piston here, and piston there, just like this. And then we gotta copy this all the way down. All right, so we finished the first section, but now we need to connect the other side to the middle point here. All right, we've finished it. We have that circuit connecting to here and the other circuit connecting right here. Now we're gonna run a line down the middle, all the way up, and then build the machine. All right, we finished connecting the Permaloader and the cluster chunks together. Now we need to build the timer and the beacon chunk. We'll explain what these do later, but for now, we need to outline the machine and get a platform set up to build it on. All right, so I've been able to outline the entire area of the machine. However, I've run out of netherrack. So what I'm gonna do is go mining below to collect a whole bunch of it, but I'm gonna mine in a very specific spot. You see, later as part of this machine, we're going to need to clear out 3 complete chunks. And although we're not there yet, I'm gonna start by collecting all my netherrack that I need to fill in the base of this machine. This is so as I'm building it, I don't accidentally fall off and die, because I only have 1 ender pearl left, so if I were to fall off, I only have 1 chance to save myself. All right, we've finished the timer and beacon chunk. Now it's time to explain what the heck they do.
Okay, so for this section, I'm gonna explain a whole bunch of random things and you're just gonna have to deal with me explaining them, because at the end, they're all gonna come together and make sense. But at first, they're just gonna seem random. So first thing, you've built the Permaloader, you've built the cluster chunks.
I have.
Now you're building, or you have built, the timer, the unload chunk, and everything that goes inside the glass chunk.
Yes, sir.
Now, we're gonna talk about what these are. First of all, you notice that the glass chunk is right next to the invisible chunk.
I noticed.
You already did the invisible chunk. Everyone knows how that works. I'm not going to explain it because I don't know how that works. But it needs to be right next to the glass chunk. That's very important. We'll get to that later. Now, the timer is a timer. You know how timers work. It times things. It's not that complicated. It's just a timer. It just tells you when to do certain things when you're running the machine. Then we have the unload chunk and the glass chunk. The unload chunk is basically just another one of these cluster chunks, but it's on a separate redstone line so that you can turn it off when you want to, because it needs to be turned off at a certain point in time. Then there's a glass chunk. So what goes in the glass chunk is beacons and glass, but you're not putting the glass in yet. You're gonna put the glass in when you're running the machine. Why? Well, let me explain to you how everything works. So we have Greg, right? Greg's our guy who runs all the operations. He's doing everything. He's in the control room. He's big brain. He's real intelligent. He's the head honcho. When Nathan, the player, Mudflaps, whoever's playing, when they go and they place a glass block down, Greg realizes, oh, glass got placed. What do I know about glass? Why do I care about glass? Well, glass, stained glass, changes the color of beacon beams. So we better check to see if there's any beacons underneath this glass to see if we need to change the color. So Greg sends out an order. He sends out an order to the beacon searching department. And the beacon searching department is put in charge of finding out if there's any beacons underneath this glass block. So there's just one glass that was placed. So they send out one person, Barry the beacon searcher. Barry the beacon searcher goes and says, okay, this glass block was placed. Let me look one block below it. What block is below it? Is block X700, Z293, Y73, whatever. What chunk does that block belong to? It belongs to the glass chunk. So then Barry heads over to the loaded list. Think of it like the filing room in the office building. He goes to the filing room and he starts rifling through the files, trying to find this glass chunk. Once he finds the glass chunk, now he has all the data of what's in that chunk, and he can look to see what is in the spot below the glass block. Is it a beacon? Is it not a beacon? He can tell. Then, once he's figured that out, he goes to the next block, again, does the whole search, sees what's underneath there. Then he goes down one block, down one block, down one block, down one block, all the way down to the bottom to see if there's any beacons underneath the glass. However, if Barry finds a beacon, he goes, hold on, stop everything. I found a beacon. This is what I was sent here to do. It's the most important thing in the world. I gotta go tell Greg about this. So he stops everything. He runs down the hallway. He goes to Greg's office. He bangs on the door, says, Greg, open up. Sometimes Greg's busy. He's doing other stuff. But then Greg opens up the door and says, what, Barry? Barry says, found a beacon. Greg says, cool. I'll go deal with it. Shuts the door, goes back to work. Then Barry's like, good job. Time to go back to the file room, continue my thing. That's how Barry works. Greg, in the meantime, Greg's doing something else. The way Greg operates is he's in charge of everything, so he's very scheduled. He has a plan, right? He doesn't just do things willy-nilly. Everything's in order. So he works in phases. He has everything organized in phases, and he only does certain tasks during certain phases, right? Between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m., he does one thing. 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., he does another thing. Now, Greg has lots of phases. We're only going to talk about 3. First, we have the player phase, or the player loading phase. Then there's the mob phase. Then there's the unloading phase, right? These are the 3 different phases that we're going to care about. During the player phase, that's when Greg does all the player actions. So this glass block being placed down, that's during the player phase. So it sends the message to the beacon search department. Barry goes off searching, and usually Barry will finish his search during the mob phase. This is when Barry is supposed to finish his search. Then after that comes the unloading phase. Now, Barry's fast at the job. He usually finishes his whole search in around 4,000 nanoseconds, which is very, very fast. But we want to try and slow Barry down. Because if we slow Barry down, we can have him, instead of finishing here, he actually finishes during the unloading phase. And if we time it correctly, you can have something very interesting happen. So the question is, how do we slow down Barry to make sure that he doesn't finish until the unloading phase? Well, we're basically doing it in 4 ways. First of all, what we're doing is you're creating a lag spike. So you're part of the machine, you're gonna press a button, a whole bunch of observers are gonna go, and it's gonna lag the game for a little bit. During that lag spike, you're gonna place down a whole bunch of glass blocks at the same time. Because the game is lagging, Greg's not gonna realize that all these glass blocks are placed until the game stops lagging and catches up. So when that happens, Greg's gonna be like, oh my goodness, 500 glass blocks got placed at the same time, calls the department and says, hey, send out 500 people to go search for these beacons. So there's like 500 different people that all get sent out. So there's a whole bunch of people going on. All those people end up going to the filing room to look through the list. Now, because of these cluster chunks, one of the benefits of them is there are so many cluster chunks. Instead of looking through just a handful of chunks to find the glass chunk they're looking for, they have to look through this giant list of 3,000 chunks. That's going to take a while. So they get slowed down because of that. Then a whole bunch of them are finding beacons because there is a bunch of beacons there and they're all finding them. So they say, oh my goodness, we found the beacon. We better go tell Greg about it. So a whole bunch of people start running down the hallway to get to Greg's office. But then they all get to Greg's office at the same time and they start fighting. They have a little tussle. Like, hey, no, I was here first. They're all fighting, blah, 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 blah. Banging on the door, whatever. Greg won't talk to everybody at the same time. Greg's one man. He can't talk to everyone. So they all eventually figure themselves out and get in a single file line. However, doing that takes up system resources, slows things down. Then they gotta wait in line. First guy bangs on the door. Greg comes, opens the door. Hey, Greg, found a beacon. Greg says, cool, shuts the door, goes back. Next guy shows up, bangs on the door. Hey, Greg, found a beacon. Cool, shuts the door, goes back. And they gotta wait in single file line over and over and over again. And then finally, Sometimes Greg just doesn't answer the door, right? When it's like the player phase, Greg's busy. He's doing other things. He can't answer the door all the time. So those 4 things all combine to make sure that Barry and all the rest of the beacon searching people take a really long time to find their beacons. And that can sometimes mean that they are still working during the unloading phase. And that is the goal we're trying to get to. Let me explain why. So here's basically how the machine works. Player logs into the world, it starts a timer starts running, and basically tells the player when to do certain actions. Then he loads in the unload chunk, then he loads in the cluster chunks, then he loads in the permaloader. So the permaloader will have all these chunks filled in. There'll be some random chunks. The unload chunk will be occupying spot 1, 3, 3, 4. All these cluster chunks will happen. And the glass chunk has not been loaded yet. It doesn't exist on this list. Then the player hits another lever, which starts a 60-second timer, which will unload the unload chunk, which is maybe we should have named it something different. But basically it'll disable the hopper inside the unload chunk. So when Tony comes to do all the unloading, this is no longer being protected. This will end up getting unloaded by Tony. But not yet, it'll happen in 60 seconds. During those 60 seconds, the player will run over from this point in the timer all the way over here and will load in the glass chunk. So the glass chunk, wanting to go in spot 1, 3, 3, 4, can't go into 1, 3, 3, 4. It can't go to any of the cluster chunks. It ends up way down here, somewhere around slot 3000. Then what happens is the player is going to trigger a lag spike. During the lag spike, he's going to place down a bunch of glass. But Greg doesn't notice the glass gets placed down yet because the lag spike is happening. Also during the lag spike, the player is going to pause the game and resume it. By pausing the game, it also triggers an autosave to happen. So as soon as the lag spike ends, all this glass that was placed down, Greg is going to notice, oh, glass is here. Send out the beacon searchers. And since you placed down like 500 pieces of glass, 500 beacon searchers are going to be sent out looking for beacons. That's during the player phase. Barry, he got a message from Greg to go searching for beacons under the glass. So Barry goes down to the filing room, but he's not alone. There are like 500 of his coworkers are all rushing into this filing room. They're all bumping into each other. It's slowing things down. He gets to the list and he starts going through the filing cabinets. He's looking for the chunk, looking for the chunk, looking for the chunk. But there are so many chunks in this list, it's taking him forever. He's searching, searching, searching. Then he hears a commotion in the hallway. He goes, looks in the hallway. He sees all these other people working outside Greg's door, banging on the door, fighting with each other, trying to get in line, trying to tell Greg about beacons they found. It's chaos. It's crazy. Barry's getting slowed down. He's not going as fast as he usually is, but he's slowly working, slowly working, slowly working. He gets to, let's say about here, midway through the cluster chunks. Once he gets midway through the cluster chunks, around that same time, Greg gets to the unload phase. And he says, hey, Tony, go unload those chunks. So Tony goes and he unloads all the diagonal chunks and he gets to all these chunks. Now, normally all these chunks had a hopper in them, so none of them get unloaded, except the unload chunk. We specifically set a 60-second timer, which happened a long time ago, to turn off the hopper in the unload chunk. So the unload chunk actually gets unloaded here. So now this slot is empty. Slot 1, 3, 3, 4 is now an empty slot. When Tony does that, he sees, oh, slot 1, 3, 3, 4 is open, empty. Is there anything else on this list that could go in slot 1, 3, 3, 4? What do you know? The glass chunk. That should go in slot 1, 3, 3, 4. So we remove the glass chunk from here and moves it all the way up into slot 1, 3, 3, 4. Great, good job, Tony. Got everything clean, put things where they're supposed to be. Excellent work. Here's the problem. Barry's still here. He's working. He's hustling hard, and he's working through the list, working, gets to the end of the list. He didn't find the glass chunk. It's not there. It wasn't here when Barry was here. Barry was down here when the glass chunk got moved, so he completely missed it. Barry starts freaking out. He goes, oh my God, glass chunk is missing. What do I do? What do I do? Do I tell Greg? I don't know. Barry takes a breath. He reminds himself of the mantra he tells himself in the mirror every morning about how strong he is, how capable he is, how smart he is, how many people rely on him. He thinks back to his wife and kid at home, waiting for him to bring that paycheck so he can put food on the table. He knows they trusted him. This company trusted him. He's a strong, independent man. He can do what needs to be done. So he doesn't tell Greg. He says, you know what? Glass chunk is missing. I'll deal with it myself. So what Barry does, after he went all the way to the filing room, he now runs all the way to the disk. He goes to the storage room and he finds the last save of the glass chunk. Right, this is the glass chunk as it was during the last autosave. So it's an older version of the glass chunk. It's before the glass was ever placed. So he's gonna take that version of the glass chunk, he's gonna go back to the filing cabinet and start searching for where he's supposed to put it. And he gets the spot right here, 1, 3, 3, 4, where the glass chunk is supposed to be. Now Barry's done a great job. He's worked hard, he's been independent, he's self-promoted himself to take on this task of finding the glass chunk, the missing chunk file himself. However, there is one problem, and that's that Barry is an idiot. Barry gets to this point of the filing cabinet, finds slot 1, 3, 3, 4, and says, oh, here's the file that's supposed to be in here. Shoves it in the slot and just deletes the other glass slot. He forgot that he didn't even look. He's not smart enough to figure out. So he puts the old glass thing here. Now here's the thing. Barry is not great. All right, Barry's gone rogue at this point. He's off doing his own thing. He thinks he's smart, and he thinks he's now responsible for this glass, for this chunk right here. Anything that happens because of Barry's actions are things that Barry is now going to take care of himself. The absolute bozo idiot that doesn't know how to run the game is going to try and replace Greg and start running things himself. And that causes a slight problem. Not necessarily a problem unless you know how to exploit it. But the fact is that Barry and Greg are not on the same timing. They're not in sync with each other. Barry is async. We call him the async line. Meanwhile, Greg is the regular line. He's the regular thread that everything works through. So now, anything that happens as a result of Barry loading up this chunk is going to be connected to Barry's timing, not to Greg's timing. Which means if you're able to chain a bunch of events, basically connect the events somehow to this loading of the chunk, and create a daisy chain of events happening afterwards, all of those events will be on Barry's asynchronized timing, not on Greg's timing. And that factor is something we can exploit, but you gotta build more of the machine to do it. Now, usually it's kind of hard to figure out what you could possibly do, how you could possibly link something in the world happening, how you could possibly link in-world events, things that the player can interact with loading up a chunk, right? Like loading up a chunk is not really something to do with the player. It has nothing to do with blocks in the world necessarily, because this chunk, it's not loading for the first time, it's already loaded. However, you've actually already done something that connects this to loading up blocks of the world. And that is the invisible chunk you made. The invisible chunk is right next to the glass chunk. If you remember from earlier, population data, which has not been rendered in the invisible chunk, is rendered or is created when the chunks around it are loaded. And since Barry just reloaded this chunk right here, he reloaded the glass chunk, that is going to trigger the invisible chunk to now make its population data. So what does population data do? Well, of course it makes trees, but it also makes lava pockets. The same way that you got all this lava to access another dimension before, this is now going to create new lava pockets inside the invisible chunk. Now, the order of operations of how this works exactly is a little important. So you know in normal Minecraft, in the newer versions of Minecraft, if you go to a new place in the nether dimension, you'll see lava like falling from the roof, slowly falling down. That is not how lava used to work. Before, in 1.12, lava used to fall instantly as soon as it was placed. And the way that happened is something called ITT, or instant tile tick. Basically, order of operations happens. Glass chunk is loaded, the invis chunk has its pop data loaded, then ITT, or that instant tile tick, is turned on. What that means is that anything in the world that is scheduled to happen later happens instantly. So for example, lava falling. Usually if you place a lava bucket down, it slowly spreads out over time. What's really happening is the lava bucket gets placed down, it says, okay, wait a second, then expand one. Wait another second, then expand again. That's how it works. Redstone repeaters are the same thing. Redstone comes in, it waits a couple ticks, then it sends the redstone out. So when ITT is turned on, none of that waiting happens. All waiting is disabled. Anything that is supposed to wait happens instantly. Lava instantly spreads. Redstone instantly travels. Everything's instant. After the ITT, lava pockets are allowed to spawn. From this population, lava pockets are allowed to spawn. After that happens, ITT is supposed to be turned back off. So then the world goes back to normal. The reason this happens is so that when normally another chunk is created, the lava will spawn, it'll flow all the way down, create its lava fall or whatever, and then ITT gets turned off. But what you're gonna do with the next part of this machine is make sure that this never happens. You're going to prevent this from happening by making something else happen in between here. And that's what the radiator and the async observer chain is for. So remember when you're overworld and you're trying to create lava and you had to like build these like weird columns of stone to have lava pockets form inside of them?
Yes.
The radiator is basically doing the same thing in the nether, right? You're basically just gonna make these big columns of netherrack with holes in the middle of them. Now these holes are gonna extend all the way down to the bottom, meaning if any lava populates within this radiator, it'll instantly flow down to the bottom because ITT is on, and it'll pool at the bottom and spread across the floor. Then what you're gonna do at the bottom of this radiator is you are gonna put an observer. An observer is going to detect when lava passes in front of it. And then it's gonna send its signal backwards, and there's gonna be a whole chain of observers, just 100 observers or 200 observers in a row, that is all going to detect when the lava happens and send the redstone pulse back through them. However, this is happening when ITT is still turned on, meaning these observers are not waiting to send the redstone pulses. They're happening instantly. Now, if you remember something about observers, is that when an observer detects something, it actually triggers twice, right? So you have your first observer here, and it detects, I don't know, the lava flowing in front of it. It's gonna let out 2 pulses. It'll go pulse, pulse. Then the observer behind it, under normal circumstances, would see those 2 pulses, and it would send out 2 2 pulses. Now what's really happening is it sees the first pulse and it starts sending out its 2 pulses. By the time this finishes sending out its second pulse, this one's already done, right? Let's say it takes 1 second for it to do 2 pulses. So this one is always slightly behind this, so it only ever sees the first pulse. It doesn't finish its pulsing to catch the second pulse. So this observer chain would always send out 2 pulses every time. That's under normal circumstances. But again, ITT is turned on, meaning that these observers don't wait. This one will send out 2 pulses. This one will see the first pulse and trigger its 2 pulses from the first pulse. But it does that before the second pulse. So then it notices, oh, there's a second pulse. I should actually send out 2 more pulses. So it sends out 4 in total. This observer sees 4 different pulses and sends out 8 pulses, 2 for each of the 4. This one sends out 16, this one sends out 32, 64. It'll keep multiplying and growing exponentially bigger. Right? It'll be an exponential curve of how many pulses are being sent out. And remember, this is all happening on Barry's line, not Greg. So this is an asynchronized line where there is an exponential growth of pulses that need to occur. All of these pulses are occurring because of the lava spawn, and they are happening before ITT is turned off. Meaning the code never gets to this point of turning off the ITT until it finishes all of these pulses. Now 64 pulses isn't that bad, but if you have 100 or 200 observers in a row, it can be millions, billions, trillions of pulses that have to happen before it ever gets to the point of turning ITT back off. So because of that, you end up having a very long window where this asynchronized line is connected to Barry's little magical world where he's running things and not listening to Greg whatsoever. So then what you can do is you can start connecting things to this asynchronized line. Anything that is connected to this line is going to run off Barry's timeline, which is going to be slightly offset from Greg's timeline. That's where you're going to go and build the final room. You have your radiator, you have your asynchronized observer chain that is running a big line all the way to your working area. And in this working area is where you are going to develop the final steps to creating a method to get to the end eventually. So the next steps are to go build the radiator, build the asynchronized observer chain that will lead all the way to this working area where we'll continue building. But do this first, then we'll explain what happens to the working area, because that is the really cool part. Gotcha.
All right, with that part finished, we have now done the entire top side of the machine, which leaves only one thing, the bottom side, which is gonna take a while. The first thing we gotta do is clear out 4 chunks directly under the save states. The reason we have to do this is because of the population data being held by those save states right now. We're gonna turn that chunk into a similar design we used in the overworld with the stone. What we want it to happen is to spawn lava in very specific zones. When that lava drops, it's gonna activate a machine we're gonna build below it. But the first thing on the list to do is to clear out a ton of freaking area. Now, there is also one downside to this, and that is I don't have a lot of pickaxes, and thinking about it, clearing out 4 chunks, yeah, that's not enough. So I've come up with an idea. I'm gonna bring a beacon down with me. I'm just gonna make iron pickaxe after iron pickaxe with haste 2 and hope that'll get me through it in some meaningful amount of time. I'm pretty sure I brought way too much iron, so it should be okay to use like a stack of it on pickaxes. Okay, so this is the entire zone that needs to be cleared out, all the way there. So this chunk, and then turning around the corner to here. This needs to be cleared all the way down to bedrock. So we'll get through a bit of it with our diamond pickaxes, then I'll set up the beacon and keep going. Okay, now okay. My legs have stopped moving. My only thought is that because we haven't closed the world in so long, it's starting to glitch out. I might text Angeron and ask him if he knows why this is happening, but meanwhile, we're gonna get started on the next part of the build. So what I've done is I've finished clearing out this section, and I've cleared out the tunnel down here that'll lead into the 2 main areas. One of those main areas is gonna be where we actually get to the end. But before we move over there, we gotta deal with this enormous area. So now that we have this area mined out though, what do we do with it? Similar to the overworld, we're gonna build a bunch of radiators up here. So it's gonna look something like this, where I build a tunnel all the way up here. This is because lava looks for an air pocket with blocks on all sides. When you're digging around the nether, sometimes like you'll see random lava in the walls like this, and it can only spawn because it has blocks on all sides and an air gap in the middle. So what we're gonna do is build a ton of these, with hopes that a couple of them will spawn lava when we reset the population data for the chunk area. You see, even though my save state is I think in this chunk and this chunk, the population data of the area is controlled by just a few chunks. So by save stating the chunks behind me, I will actually reset the population data in these chunks as well. So we're gonna build these radiators all the way to the top, which is why I've been saving netherrack this entire time, and then we're gonna build a basin at the bottom. The idea here is that when the lava is spawned, it's gonna drop into the basin, and that's gonna activate an observer. But that part links to the tunnel and the actual end area where we're gonna summon the end portal. So before we get there, let's build the radiators themselves. All right, we have finished the radiators with 43 netherrack to go. This actually took a lot more netherrack than I thought and had to mine a little bit more than what I'd saved from mining out the chunks. But as you can see, we have tons of holes that are fully encased with netherrack. Hopefully one of these will yield us some lava. We built so many because in the off chance that one doesn't, hopefully another will. And then we're gonna focus on the actual redstone line that's gonna connect to these radiators. All right, so there's two spots where observers are gonna be. First here, so we need to get an observer that faces in like this, and then one on top, and then just the opposite on the other side. Remember for this one, it should face up. All right, and now we have to deal with the main machine. Okay, so these repeaters will go like, these observers will go like this. All right, now we're gonna build the async line that connects to the final room. So it's this, 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 and this. So observer goes like this, and another one. And then we just have to do like a caterpillar pattern all around this chunk. All right, and now above all of the observers, we have to place sticky pistons, but we have to be careful because above the sticky pistons, we're gonna be placing redstone repeaters and also redstone. However, to do that, that means we need a block above the actual pistons. All right, and then on top of all the observers, we can place our pistons. All right, and now we just need to extend the redstone line to the final room. We have nearly achieved it. This is the main room. I think this room's gonna make the most sense to explain after I've built it, so I'm gonna build it first and then go over how it works. Okay, so the final room is done, which means now we need to explain what the final room actually does.
Okay, congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. You have made it to the final lesson of my 6-hour-long explanation that we're cutting down into 45 minutes of talking. We're in the working area. Okay, we've done all the work. We created an asynchronized line of observers that is working at a slightly different timing than the normal game thread is. Greg's working on one timing, Barry's working on another. Now we're going to take advantage of that. And our goal is to create a block in the world that doesn't already exist. Now to do that, there are 2 steps. Step 1 is to make every block accessible. So what I mean by this is normally when Minecraft stores data in a chunk, it does so by creating a lookup table of all of the different blocks that are in that chunk. So for example, we have our lookup table. Let's say that chunk is completely empty. There's nothing in the chunk. The lookup table has nothing in it. Actually, technically has air in it, but there's air. If you put a dirt block in that chunk, it's gonna add dirt to the lookup table. Then if you add stone, it's gonna add stone. Netherrack, it's gonna have netherrack. Wool, it's gonna add wool. It is going to write down all the different blocks that are inside the chunk right here in this lookup table. And so whenever it's looking up what block is supposed to be in a certain position, it's gonna say, okay, this is a dirt block. Let me search my lookup table to find the dirt block. Here's the dirt block. Now I know what I need to do with it. However, we wanted to create a block that doesn't already exist. If the block already existed in this chunk, we wouldn't need to make it. We need to add blocks to this lookup table that aren't already there. And the only way to do that is to basically max out the lookup table. So the way we do that is by putting 256 unique blocks inside the chunk. Basically, what's happening is Greg over at headquarters is saying, hey, send this information to the lookup table. Every time a new block is added, he adds more information to the lookup table. He wants to keep this lookup table as small as possible so that the game doesn't have to search through a massive list. Back when we had the list of chunks that Barry took forever to search through, Greg's trying to avoid that. He doesn't want this list to be massive. But every time you add a unique block, it has to be added to the list, making it longer and longer. Eventually, when you get to this number, 256, Greg says, you know what? Screw it. 256 blocks is way too many. They basically want every block in the game. Just give them every block in the game. Put the whole list out there. So at 255 blocks, there'll be 255 blocks. At 256 blocks, it now adds every single block of the game into this lookup table, meaning every block is now accessible to the lookup table. Doesn't mean they actually exist in the world yet, but they are accessible. That is step 1. Now, step 2 is to extend the length of each block's bits to 13. So this is also accomplished by having 256 blocks, which is really useful. Now, to understand what this means, you need to remember that computers don't speak English, they speak binary. They speak in ones and zeros. You don't need to know what ones and zeros mean. We don't need to go a whole definition of binary, but just remember that instead of dirt, the computer doesn't write dirt in the English language. It writes 101010 or something. It writes it in ones and zeros, okay? Now, normally, if it's writing down a dirt block, it'll use, 8 digits of ones and zeros to identify that dirt block. But the more blocks we add to this lookup table, the more bits it needs to use, the more information it needs to use to make sure that it's not confusing any of these blocks. And when we have 256 blocks, this number ends up being 13 bits long. It is a 13-bit sequence, that each block is labeled out. And that is very important. The reason that's important is because of how Minecraft actually saves information. So think of it like the way you write down words. If you were writing a book, you would not write every sentence on its own individual line. You wouldn't go, hello, my name is Matt, I work at the pottery barn, I like cookies, blah, 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 right? You don't have each sentence on its own line because you have all this empty space over here that's not being used. It's really inefficient. So instead, what you do is you keep writing each sentence on the same line. Say, hello, my name is Matt, I work at the pottery barn. Then, when you get to the edge of the page, you cut off your sentence and continue on the next line. Say, I really like, cut it off, go to the next line, to eat cookies. That is how we write in English. Computers write sort of the same way. What they do is they have 64-bit integer strings, otherwise known as longs. So what that means is that each line of code, so to speak, or each line on the page is 64 bits long. That is why having 13 bits is very important. Number one, because we actually know how many bits we're using for each block, but also because the number 13 doesn't really go into 64 very well. 8 goes into 64 pretty well. 16 does go into 64 pretty well. 13 does not. Meaning that you're gonna have all your blocks written out, 13 digits here, 13 digits here, 13 digits here, etc. And then you're gonna get to one that tries to write the word down, only gets about halfway done, and then skips it to the next line. And this is very important because these two are split across 2 different lines. We're able to take advantage of that with our asynchronized timeline. So here's the idea. If we rapidly place 2 different blocks in the same block space, you place one, break it, place a different one, break it, place the first one, break it, place a different one, place it. You know what I'm saying. If you keep placing and replacing 2 different blocks, changing in between each other, and you do this while it is attached to our asynchronized observer chain, what can happen is that the game tries to write the first line of code. It gets halfway through writing, let's say block number 1, the dirt block. It gets halfway through writing dirt on the first line. So there's blah, 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 D-I, end of sentence, line gets cut off. And now continues onto the second line, RT. However, this dirt block, or this placement thing, is connected to the asynced line. So this second line of code that it's trying to write could get reset, could get messed up, because Barry is not doing things on Greg's time, and he screws everything up.
Not Barry.
So it gets erased, but then it goes to write it again. So usually it's fine. Not a big deal, just rewrites the same thing. However, if you manage to break the dirt block and then place the second block, let's call it stone, at the same time that this second line gets erased and rewritten, instead of writing the dirt block, it might start writing the stone block. Now it already wrote the first 2 letters over here, so now it continues O and E.
I've made Dione.
So exactly, what you've done is combine dirt and stone to make Dione. Now again, this is English. It doesn't make sense in English. Computers don't speak English. They speak binary code. So when a computer sees this, it's not making Dione. What it's doing is it's taking 1111, combining it with 0000, and what it ends up with is taking half of each to make 1100. And this might just be a word in binary code. Now I made these numbers up, so it's not, but it could be. And since we actually know what the binary code of each computer is, we can actually pre-select what blocks we want to place, knowing what their binary codes are, and end up having them spliced together to make another binary code that we specifically want. So just to recap what we're doing. We're putting down a dirt block, 111, putting down a stone block, 000. These get spliced together to make 1000. The game then thinks, oh, block 1100 is supposed to be in this position. It goes back to its lookup table that we had before and says, what is 1100? And it looks through the whole lookup table. Since we made the lookup table 256 different blocks, it gave us all of the blocks in the game as a lookup table instead of just the ones already in the chunk. I mean, you can now search through blocks that aren't supposed to exist, that are in the game technically, but aren't ones that you're supposed to exist in the world because those are included in the lookup table. So what is it we're actually going to do? First, you're going to build the palette, and the palette is 256 blocks that are different in some way. They could be oak stair blocks that are pointing in different directions. They could be pink terracotta, blue terracotta, red terracotta, it doesn't matter, as long as they are 256 unique different blocks. This will give us the lookup table. Then, at the end of the asynchronized line, you're going to try and combine two different blocks together. Those blocks are going to be a cauldron and fire. Those are the two blocks we want to combine. Now, when this happens, you're going to get one of three different results. Actually, one of four different results. Okay, result number one is nothing happens because you miss the timing and everything just stays the same. The second thing is that you could have fire combined with the air block because it is very difficult to not have air block existing when you're breaking and replacing things. Fire could combine with the air block and create the binary code for mossy cobblestone. Or, number three, the cauldron could combine with the air and create the binary code for a grass block.
Man, this air is messing everything up.
Or option number four could happen, where you take the binary code for cauldron, which is 00111 011 00000. You combine it with fire, and fire has the binary code 000 1100 11 000, and these two combine to give you a brand new block of 00111 011 coming from the cauldron, and then 10000 coming from the fire. Those two numbers combine together to create end portal. Not end portal block, the end portal itself. And with that, you can finally access the end dimension, kill the Ender Dragon, and become the first person to ever beat Skyblock from the original map. Congratulations. I'm going to bed.
No questions?
Okay, so the entire machine is done, which means we can run it now. Or we would be able to run it now if we didn't run into yet another issue. Remember when I said we don't actually have a working way to get to the end and that this entire thing was a prototype? Well, it seems like the prototype has failed. You see, now that we have the entire machine, I've built it on another world in creative mode, and I've been doing some testing. And long story short, it doesn't work. Angern is very stumped on why it doesn't work, since it works on his computer. I did offer to fly to Spain and see how it works. He said no, so I may have just spent 3,500 or 4,000 days, however many days we're at this point, for nothing. Like I'm serious. We have nothing right now. We have a not working machine. So I guess we wait and hope that Angern solves whatever is breaking our machine. I did run it about 300 times. Just for perspective, it takes about 3 minutes to run each time. So yes, I have spent 900 minutes trying to get this to work, and it has not worked. So we're gonna give Angern some time and hope that he can solve this. So, it's been about 4 months. Angern says that he might have figured out what was wrong with it, but in order to solve that, we're gonna have to do all the fixes he wants us to do, and then we find out if his solve actually works, or if we're just doomed to do it again and fix it again until it just never works, and this project goes on and on and on and on. It's been a year. No, it's been over a year at this point. Okay, so on to the fixes. Okay, so the platform has been placed. Now it's time to tear down the machine. I need to tear down from this section right here forward and then rebuild it. But we have to be very careful during this that we don't lose these blocks because we need these blocks. So every 5 minutes we need to run like some sort of pickup. I'm thinking rather than like breaking it in a straight line or something, we try to take this down in chunks to make sure that we get all the blocks. Okay. We have finished taking down the main part of the structure that we need to remove. Now we need to rebuild it. Essentially all we're doing is the section that was over here, we're just bringing it back like 20 blocks or so, and then adding a couple more things. But we should have all the resources here to do it, so let's get building. Okay, so for the most part, we have finished. The main machine has been reconstructed, and as you can see, it's a lot smaller than it used to be, but this bit is new. That being said though, before we can add the books into all these dropper slots, we need to fix one more part of the machine down below. Okay. So with this line, we need to be breaking every block under each repeater, and then we're gonna be placing repeaters that go the opposite direction, like so. Okay, then we need to take our pistons, and then on every repeater that's facing this way, we need to place a piston facing up. All right, now we need to copy that in this section over here as well. Everything down here should be fixed, which means the only thing left to do is to actually place the books in the machine. Okay, so let's prep books. We have a few more positions for books, so we don't quite have enough from our old ones. But what we first got to do is copy these. So I'm gonna grab book 2 and book 1. I believe you can make a copy of a copy. Okay, so if I do this and this, good. Okay, we can create copies of this. Okay, so let's take all the books out of these chests and fill as many of these drop downs as we can, and then we'll see how many more we have to do. Okay, so number 1 chest. All right, chest number 2. Chest number 3, chest number 4, and the final chest, chest 16. Okay, the machine is done. What we need to do now is move all these supplies to that side, remove this area, and then prep for running the machine. All right, supplies are moved. Let's break the platform now. Okay, books are in, machine is prepped. The only thing we need to do now is get our glass that we had from last attempt and never actually used and turn it into white stained glass. Let's get this glass back to the top of the platform. Here's the deal, boys. First we crouch, we go onto that snow, then we leave the game, all right? What this will do is when we join the game, we'll come out of our crouch, hit this gold pressure plate, and we'll start the autosave timer within milliseconds of when the autosave actually starts. Once we've done that, we're gonna walk over to this platform, we're gonna hit the middle lever, the left lever, this light's gonna go out, we're gonna wait for it to come back on. When it does, we hit this lever. Then we wait. This light for the autosave has to come on. Once it comes on, we face the ice road, we hit the first lever, the second lever, this piston will have retracted, then we get our ice boat, and we boat all the way down here, we make it to here, we run around, we flick this lever, we type something in the chat, and then we wait. We stare directly down, and when this redstone block gets pushed down, the repeater right there is gonna activate. Once it activates, we walk into this chunk. Then we stare at the unload chunk sign, which is gonna be this guy. Once it turns on, we wait a couple seconds just for margin of error. We hit this button, we turn around and face our glass placements. We do some more typing, hit enter, and then hit escape and go to the pause menu. We wait for the text to appear in the bottom left. As soon as it disappears, we start placing our glass. And then we have a certain time frame, which I don't actually know what it is on this machine, but basically we just need to go as fast as we can. Once all the glass is placed, we can test to see if it works by right-clicking it. Past that, there are some more steps, but honestly, they're gonna be too complicating to talk about now. It'd be easier if we just kind of do it when we actually do it. But that's the hard part. Okay, so I believe my panes are in here. Nice, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we should be logging in right now to run the machine, but we've made a critical mistake. Dude, this thing just never works. It's funny because we've been saying the whole time this is an impossible machine. There's a reason it's impossible. Okay, we have a potential fix. So what we noticed on my way back, if you look below the ice trail, you'll see the rails. The rails need to be powered and they are not. And if they are not powered, machine will not work and we will be very sad. However, since we have initiated starting the machine, we are in trouble. To avoid said trouble, we need to get back into the world and follow Angern's exact steps, which involve basically walking in a maze to avoid loading in certain chunks, and then placing a cobblestone wall and 2 pieces of cobblestone at a very precise location to save our butts. All right, boys, pray for me. Here we go. Play selected world. The autosave timer is gonna start. Turn around, flick this lever. Now we wait for that to pulse. While we wait, we need to rush down here. Go, 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 go. Cobblestone and cobblestone wall. Okay. We need to get back up. There it is, there it is. Escape. Down to 2. Spam escape. Head down. Okay. Here we go, boys. This is where we lose this entire challenge or not. Because This machine never freaking works. COD's on. Chunk boundaries on. First chunk we need to go to, 2871. It's like right here, it's this chunk. Get in the chunk, spam escape. Walk east down this wire. East. We're going to 2729, boys. This chunk. Walk north towards this chunk. Where's north? North to 3655. Here we go, spam pause. Okay. Then walk west to this chunk, west. West to 2902. 2902, spam, 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 spam. Spam, 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 spam. Then 2911. Boom, boom, boom. Stand facing that. Log out. Okay, so now set your render distance to 8. Cross the chunk border, log out. I believe it is this chunk border.
Okay, now it's time to find out if I did that, right?
Yes, I got it. Now we move on to the next step. Okay, so we did indeed do things correctly. The world works again. Now, what we have to do is exactly what we did the first time when we had to leave the machine. We have to go back to the machine, send the minecarts into the save state chunk, and then fix the machine and put the books back in. We just need to be very careful when we're walking back that we don't go into the wrong chunk. To do that, we're gonna retrace our steps backwards through the chunk maze. And then I need to go to 2904. So that's this chunk. It's this way. Okay, we are back on the line. Now we go this way. Okay, so, all right, here we log out. Okay, now we go. Adjust high. Ice road boat. We just need to make that turn. Here we go. Off. Railing. Oh, Nathan. Off. Off. I'm messing up. Did I get them? I think I got it. A couple things we need to do. We need to put minecarts back there and fill them full of books. Then we need to fix the rail situation so that it actually works. Okay, so now we have to let up the rails and make sure they all work before we do this again. All right, so let's flick this once. Okay, so now we have to run down this track. We have to make sure all the rails are active. All these rails are active. Okay, everything is ready. We have all the materials with us. Let's head back to the start, head to the autosave, and get out of here. Okay, let's crouch under the pressure plate, face this way, and I don't think we have anything else to do. All right, escape. Get out. All right, we saved a menu, boys. All right, let's do this. Bump up. Spam, 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 spam. Right click unload, click cluster. Wait for perma. Lamp needs to go off. Perma lamp on. Nice, okay. Everything's ready. Now what we're waiting for is the autosave timer to go off. We right click unload chunk, and then we book it down the ice lane. And we need to get there before the next autosave triggers. But now all we can do is wait. The game is so dark right now because before we were playing on Forge where we had replay mod and a brightness mod, but now we're strictly on vanilla. No mods, no anything. I'm dying. Okay, autosave. Change render to 7. Right click unload. First, second, go, go, go. Wait, go. Go. Make the corner, make the corner. Go, get out, get out, get out. Go, go, go. Flick lever. Okay, redstone block needs to move down. Big lag spike. Come on. Okay, now I need to line myself up with the button. Right there, okay. Button's ready. Autosave will go off first, which is on the right. Then unload chunk will be ready on the left. I have to wait till the left one. Okay, there's autosave. I have to wait for the left one to flicker. Then I position for glass, and then I pray. Come on. Yes. Okay, click. Turn around, position. Right in the middle. Type, okay, gone. As soon as that text appears, the bottom left we go. That means the lag spike's over. Come on. Come on.
No, did I screw up? Oh, it goes away. The glass goes away. The glass goes away. Okay, flick lever. Now, okay. Carts are in, good. Okay. Okay. Now we need to get back up and grab my boat. Like this. Build up. Falls off. Okay, we need to grab the boat. All right, get on top of here. Place, get my boat, and we make our way down. Okay. We gotta get down now to the async line. Now in here, we should be able to check if the observer's on. Okay, the observer's on, good, good. Now we need to place our repeater. All right, place this right here, it's on, that's good. So now our async line is connected to our lookup table. Okay, first lever, second lever. And now we go, boys. Okay, we right-click the observers. Okay, they're flickering powered off and on. You can see in the middle there. So that's good, everything's working. All right, now we need to place cauldrons. And now we pray. Oh, grass! Okay, that is one of the combinations. That means the machine is working. Mossy cobble? Okay, seriously, come on, give me an end portal. Oh. There it is, boys. That is so cursed looking. Oh. Oh, the first player to beat Skyblock. I must have done somewhere between 50 to 100 hours of just practicing this machine. All just for this one moment. Well, we still gotta kill the Ender Dragon, but we've done it. All right, now that we have the end portal, we need to get prepped to go fight the actual Ender Dragon. Leaving the game, leaving the chunks is okay at this point, so we're safe. All right, boys, so we need to go get a couple things. Well, mainly we just need a bow. Oh, nice, I actually brought my bow to these chests, so I still have it, perfect. Some arrows, and then a water bucket, perfect. All right, boys, let's head back down. Boys. Ah! Why has my end portal disappeared? Okay, well, let's break this. We are about to become the first players ever in Skyblock to enter the end in survival. We gotta get in, get a couple ender pearls, and then decimate the dragon. No mistakes, no slip-ups. Let's go. Into the end, boys. Hello, friend. It's been a while, eh? 5,000 days. All right, Tower 1. All right, cage crystal number 1. There's one more cage crystal, and then it's time to fight. Okay, that worked. No, go away, go away. All right, boys, just me and you. Man, his perches are so quick. Yes. There we go. Hey, get your head hitbox over here. Are we gonna get him? If every single person who hasn't made it to this point in the video doesn't subscribe right now, I don't know what else you want me to do. Like, it's over. If you liked the pain you saw in this video, you'll probably also like when I beat Minecraft's hardest mod that starts you with literally 3 hearts.